Right. There's a lot of weapons in there. So just take a mini bag, pass it around, grade it and decorate it as you wish. It's gonna be the story of origin, so while you're grading it, make sure you think of the story of origin. Everybody know what the story of origin is? The Marvel, perfect, okay. I'll pass it and then you guys work on it. So, very cool, hopefully it works out good. Ready? That's one activity. Hopefully I got them. I'm gonna try to get all that's in here. Okay. So my name is Jamie. I'm one of the owners of this organization, Preferably Here Out. We're just basically your typical outpatient therapy combined with everybody knows what CBHI is. CBHI, Children Behavioral Health Initiative, started back in 2009. I come way before that, and also been doing mental health for quite a while. I've done mental health in outpatient settings, in the home. I've done them in group settings, I've done them in residential programs, all that kind of stuff. Often, my favorite's always gonna be going to the house. I love going to people's houses and sitting with them and sharing with them. That's my favorite. Rather not be in the office too much. I don't mind the office, but I really like going to them because you get to see people in their environment. And the houses tell a lot of stories. So I tend to pay attention a lot, for things, and I ask a lot of questions that sometimes they get me in trouble, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they save the day. So today we're going to talk about group development and facilitation, right? Most of you guys are all from different schools, right? You guys go to schools, right? What's some of the schools that you guys go to?
Washington Elementary.
Washington, that's that way. Or yeah.
Conservatory of the Arts.
Conservatory up that way. But no, that. Which one?
Lincoln.
Lincoln, that's that way. That's a big one too. Anybody else?
Kylie Academy.
Kylie, I went to Kylie.
Duggan Academy.
Duggan, didn't go to Duggan, but I know Duggan's that way. Close, yes? Oh, student for any, Holyoke High, yeah?
Indian Orchard.
Which one, elementary? Okay. Anybody else? Arena, Brookings, big,
Rise Academy.
Rise, that way. Anybody else? Anybody here at the Springfield Academy or Springfield Day? Never heard of those schools. You haven't heard of them. Good.
I know.
Those are
I know.
behavior schools. Good.
I work related. I work in the CBHI.
CBHI. Okay, perfect. So you know everything. You know good about CBHI. Good. So we run those programs. We pretty much go everywhere to try to help facilitate those programs. So today's task is to try to do this, and there's a lot of things here. We're gonna try to do them all. If I remember though, there's a lot of them in here. So there's a lot of activities, right? So the goal of the activities is right is to reinforce what you're trying to learn or the message that you're trying to come across. That's the purpose of the activities, and we'll get that to the end. Same thing like with the Legos, like we're starting, is just to reinforce. That's all it is. Okay. If at the end, if you have any questions at any time, just ask. It's a lot easier if you just ask. And then if you want to know like licensing or that stuff, ask at the end. We'll save the licensing questions, all that stuff for the end. Everybody should have a license. You know, you should not be a therapist if you don't get your license. You need to have a license. That's like my biggest. And always go for the license. Never stay unlicensed, right? It just opens a lot of doors. There's a lot more doors that open up to you. And you spend too much money to just be in one cubby hole for the rest of your life. And don't do that to yourself. That didn't work. Let's see. Oh, there you go. So group therapy, how many have been asked to run a group at a school so far? And what type of groups have you been asked?
Lunch bunch.
Lunch bunch. And what is the lunch bunch?
So basically where I pull kids during lunch, these kids are usually from my caseload. And we go over social emotional learning, you know, just social skills.
Okay,
Getting to know the kids as well.
okay. And what are the ages? Just
I'm looking for.
fourth grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm doing a time management and study skills group for 11th graders.
That'll be good. They show up late?
It hasn't started yet, but I have the layouts in place. And
Okay, good.
the issue is, I find I'm just trying to find the time to do it.
Trying to find a time for time management, trying to find
Yeah,
time to do it.
it's funny. Just never
That's funny.
starts.
So, anybody else is trying to run a group or starting or been approached to run a group,
Mindfulness.
mindfulness group? And so we're at like, age,
We're mostly going on a needs-based, so it's open for the grade 6 to 12 right now.
and any fun groups, or do you change your group into fun?
Yeah, most of the groups that I do are fun. They tend to either be whoever shows up that's on my caseload to the library for lunch, basically just want to hang out, things like that. Or there's also an unofficial official group, of 6th graders where they're insisting I teach them how to draw with ink. And so,
You know how to do that?
yeah,
That'd be cool.
so it's a mixture of doing that and reinforcing social skills.
Right. So again, I think I'm hoping to you, out of this whole thing, you get that. Because to me, mental health is everything. Right? Anything can turn into a mental health lesson at any time. Anything is an intervention. If you get that and if you understand that, you'll never run out of topics to do, right? You'll never be bored in a session, because sometimes therapists get bored in the session, right? They check out as they sit down, they check out. And that client is across and is talking, right? If you're doing one-on-one, if you're doing a group, you can check out there too. You know, and so because you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, how are we gonna get from here to here? How do I reinforce? How do I teach a kid how to deal with anxiety? Because nothing comes in there, but anything is a lesson. Anything. So I got Legos. I got a lot of, I got these. My behavior management coping skill. Anything is a lesson. Now I was supposed to bring coins, but I forgot. But if you do have, anybody have a quarter in their pocket, a penny, nobody has it? Because that's another intervention. Well, we show you that one later on. Anything is intervention. I learned this little technique from a fathering group that I ran, that I took a long time ago. I took this fathering group, and part of one of the skills that as a father, we had to learn was create a game with something in your pocket. So if you had nothing in your pocket, you still had to create a game. Because you could create a game out of lint, you know? And I learned when I was a kid, I used to practice. I used to go to church a lot, and they didn't allow me to bring toys to church. So I learned how to create games with just my fingers. I would fight with my fingers. I would have action heroes with my fingers. So I've been doing this all the time. So now when I go to clients' houses where I'm working with a client in a group, everything is up for grabs. Everything is a teaching moment. Everything is a moment that I can teach them sort of mental health skills. And I have that here. I've trained myself to think of things like that all the time, right? Because you're going to learn all these book stuff, right? But then you have to be able to apply it when you're out there with the clients or with your kids or kiddos, whatever it is, okay? So understand it. So I'm hoping that we get to take that experience from everybody and learn it. That's the goal today, is to learn. If you can get that, you learn everything today, and you should be ready to go out when you go out and create your own groups. You can create a group of anything, and have a good time and be able to still reinforce the very skill that you're trying to teach. So groups, again, they provide a safe space. You can read those here. A lot of kids, like the lunch bunch, sometimes they don't like to go to the cafeteria and eat food. I was one that I never ate food from the 7th grade all the way to I graduated high school. Because I just didn't fit into my 6th grade group, because I went to Cali. We were the first Latinos to be transported to Cali. Because Cali was an all-white school at one point. So we were the first 16 kids from the inner city, or right here, in the north end, to transport into the Cali. So we hung out the original 16. We were very tight, but when we switched over to 7th grade, we were all dispersed because they started bringing in the busloads, the Cali, and desegregating the school. So all of a sudden, all the friends that I hung out with are all over the place now. So I never had, all my friends were gone. So from 7 all the way to 12, I pretty much never ate lunch in high school. So some kids don't like to go to the and that's one of the things I look for. Believe it or not, when I work in the kids, do you eat lunch? First question I have, do you eat lunch? And where do you eat lunch? Because I've heard of kids eating lunch in bathrooms. Why? Because they're scared of the classroom. The cafeteria can be very intimidating. You don't know who to sit with, but if a fight breaks out, which we all know that, so it's very scary. And I've had a lot of kids, a lot of cafeteria issues all the time working with. So a group can be a very safe space to eat with. I remember a kid during COVID, he would refuse to eat in the cafeteria because he thought his lips were big. I don't know how he got that thought in his head, but he wore a mask, and so he never wanted to take it off. So, because he wouldn't go eat, he would spend the time in the principal's office during lunchtime. They didn't start eating until a couple of months last year. He finally got the mask off, he's finally eating food, and he's learning to socialize. So that was a lot of work. You can learn from others who have similar struggles. That's part of one of the biggest things as group. If you're struggling with something and I'm struggling, maybe you have a skill that I have or that I need, or I have something that you need, and we can exchange and I can learn something from you. That's in a classroom, we learn from each other. That's hoping today we can do that. It gives you a voice. Sometimes kids don't talk unless they're in small groups. I can say, I use myself example, I never spoke throughout my whole associate's degree, never said a word. When I asked my teacher for a reference, I said, think of the fat kid in the back. He said, I know exactly who you are. But never spoke throughout my whole associates until I entered into a bachelor's degree, until I got to my bachelor's. It was intimidating, I was scared, everybody knew more than I did when I was there. I came out of high school, I went to college, and I went to college at nighttime. So all I did was adults, older than me, a lot older than me. I was 19 and everybody's in their 30s or 40s and have careers and kids, and I'm a young person, very intimidating. A sounding board, sometimes you can motivate me and encourage me. It helps when somebody says something good about me, right? Social skills, that's what we're all trying to teach. A new way of looking at things, and finally, the last one, which we hope, everybody, peer mentoring. That means I support you, and you support me, I show you, which is the best one about, the one I like the most is always modeling. Everything I do is try to model, so if I'm doing it, I'm trying to model it so that you can do it. So if I'm acting like a fool, and you're acting like a fool, we're both doing the same thing, right? Those are the things we do in group therapy. That's what we try to. It's more, you can always add more to anything else that you would like to add to that list. There's a lot you can add. Anything you see that kids get out of the group therapy, or that you would like for them to get out of the group therapy.
Actually, the reason I started working with things with those kids is because it started with one kid. She was having massive perfectionism issues, basically. And aside from social skills, it was a lot of what I work with her with is just everything has to be perfect. And with inks, you can't be perfect. I don't let her do pencil under drawings.
Right.
And so, oh, you messed up? Oh, that sucks. Keep going. I'll give you a new sheet of paper later. So just kind of starting to introduce the idea of it's okay to not be perfect.
It is exactly. And if you go to our office, we have these large coloring sheets. They're huge, and it has a sea turtle, right? And we did one of a lion, and it's very pretty. You see, it's very pretty. We colored all different colors. So we had therapists color it, we had clients color it. People just showed up and just started coloring. It came out very pretty. I saved that one for me. It's very pretty. But then I put up a sea turtle, and it didn't come out. It's not coming out like the first one. It's real messy because we had a lot of little toddlers that would come in and they would take the markers and they would just, it's all over the place. And they keep saying, we should just toss it. And I keep saying, we can fix it. We can fix it because what I'm hoping is that all those extra colors mix with the other colors and it comes out even prettier than the lion. And I know they don't believe me because it's real sloppy. It's really bad right now. But I'm hoping because again, it is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be, but some kids believe that. Or some kids believe they're never going to be perfect, so why bother even try? And so then we have all these other social skills, and we have all these other issues that come up and behaviors that come up without them even wanting to, they just don't, understand. So developing a group, when you develop a group, you should have like certain tasks, right? What is your goal? What is the purpose of the group? What is it? What was the purpose of the lunch bunch?
To really build upon social skills, building relationships with our students, getting out of their comfort shell. And I noticed another issue with most of my kids is self-awareness. Because you know, when I first started with my kids, I didn't know what the issue was, and we had issues, you know, just why I was given the people, but. Trying to figure out what most of the media was difficult at first, but then I realized that they all have, we can all benefit from help with self-awareness, like self-confidence.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to figure out in the beginning, and you have to sift through it, so you have a goal, a task that you're working towards. The worst you wanna do is have a kid in a group and put them all together and don't realize what you're working to. Eventually, what happens is the kids either get on each other's nerves or they get bored because there's nothing that they're working towards. Believe it or not, we all like to work towards a task. We all like to work on something that we can show that we did something. But you put them all together and you say, well, just sit there and do nothing, what are you, they're gonna get on each other's nerves. And they're gonna get bored and they're gonna wanna walk out. And then for us as a teacher, all we're gonna do is try to keep them, or a counselor, whatever we call ourselves, we're gonna try to keep them sitting down doing nothing. That's a regular class. We want them task oriented. Anything else on goals? Like what are some of the goals that you're trying to sift through and trying to make a group out of, that you see a need in your schools? Life after high school. Believe it or not, some kids after high school, they fall right back into the crack. We try to transition them from college, from high school to college, but there's no support sometimes in colleges. Oftentimes that becomes an issue, and so they walk right out. I had that one time with a mom who, her daughter graduated. It's a kind of weird story, but her daughter graduated, and so her mom said, you need to go to college, so she put her at HCC. And she would drop her off every morning at college at 7 in the morning, because that was the same time she would drop her off at high school. But how many of you guys have school from morning to night? You know there's gaps in between, right? And sometimes there's a lot of space, right? Sometimes I remember my class would be at 9, and then the next one into 3. Mother didn't understand that, because the mother was from another country, so she believed you're supposed to be in school, same thing. So she would drop her off 7 in the morning, and the girl would stay all the way up to 4 or 5 by the time she got out of work and picked her up. So the girl didn't know what to do, so she made friends. And she started hanging out. And she would leave campus. And she got into other stuff. She started tattooing herself. Started having inappropriate relationships. And the mother couldn't understand none of this stuff. What's going on here? Where's my daughter? Come to find, she came to me and I looked at the girl and said, do you ever had an IEP? She goes, yes. Can I see your IEP? She goes, okay. I looked at it, the girl had autism, Asperger's back then, we called it Asperger's, autism. And I asked Mom, do you know your daughter has autism? What is that? Like, so she's been in high school for such a long time. Mother never understood the diagnosis. She dropped off in college. Nobody's picking up on that. And so what do we have to do? We had to now put support places. We had to first educate the mom, support in the school, and help the mom understand all these little things we had to do just to help the child. Kind of crazy, right? But we had goals. We had to transition her from college to high school in a very, high school to college. Objective is, I want an objective to me is that you guys learn that everything is therapy at all times. Therapy never shuts off. That's my objective. What are some of your objectives in some of your groups that you're hoping they leave with that? Anybody throw something out there? An objective that you're trying to see.
A set objective of mine is the kids are not gonna be working, organized right off the bat, it's gonna take time to do that, but just to have some framework of each piece of the day that they keep themselves organized, whether it's school, at home, just to have that little bit of organization so they can transfer that skills onto other aspects of their lives later down the road.
It doesn't have to be big. Sometimes it's just small. It doesn't have to be big, very small. A curriculum. Do some of you guys use curriculums, or what do you guys use? Curriculum?
Well,
Yeah, lesson plans,
yeah, we
curriculum,
create our own lesson plans.
You create your own lesson plan. And how do you guys develop that?
Mostly research, and other skills that people have done, like when I did mine, the biggest thing that they wanted to talk about was agenda building. I asked people about it, so I was like, all right, well, let me create a lesson plan around making an agenda, learning how to make an agenda, keeping on top of it, stuff like that.
Part of one of the benefits that I get out of a career, gives you what to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I've done them when I would just show up and try to piece something together, and it just creates chaos. The one that needs to be the most organized is the one up here. Even PowerPoint that help you to be organized, otherwise I'll just come in and start screwing from all different angles. But it keeps me on task on what needs to be covered, that's all the curriculum, it's usually a benefit to you, but also it's a benefit to the student, because you know what they're covered, right? Like, I remember a while back, we used to do karate, and the teacher would always come in and start teaching it off his head. And sometimes he'll teach one thing, but it doesn't mix with the other thing. And then he'll teach that other thing, but then it wouldn't coordinate with the other thing. And eventually, months down the line, you figured it all out. And I remember telling him, why can't you create a system of curriculum? I know there's gotta be a curriculum in martial arts. So we learn A and B and C, and it's in order. Right now, you're teaching all over the place, and it's really confused to be able to learn something. And then I gotta wait a couple of years before I finally figured out how all the components work together. So it's an organization tool for us, and it helps them to be organized.
With
Target,
with
yeah.
Technology, I think, you don't have to invent the wheel. There's
No,
a lot of stuff
you don't.
over there. You just have to do the research and
Yeah.
just adapt whatever you find to what your current situation is.
Exactly, with tech, you go online, Google quickly, and you pop up a curriculum. And all you gotta do is, like you said, adapt it. And you'll be surprised, it's a lot faster, the work is done for you, you don't have to kind of reinvent that wheel. And audience and group dynamics. You guys understand group dynamics, not every kid can be together with other kids. Sometimes it just doesn't work. The teachers sometimes may not understand it, so they try to throw them all the kids with all the problems, you take them all. But the problem is that kid may not fit in that particular group. For whatever reason, they don't fit. Have you guys seen this sometimes happen? Any stories that you can share?
Well, I actually have to like switch out my groups, like not change the group completely, but actually this group and, vice versa, like it was not working out. I noticed that particularly in my police group, I just kids cannot work with these other kids. It was really negative, they were picking on each other, or it was like they're calling out on each other, so. It's really funny, that he wants to be funny, that type of situation, and then it can get pretty negative too. So it just wasn't conductive to the setting.
Or if you have one student that kind of dominates the group, and everybody tends to follow that one student. And so how much work are you gonna get done when that one student pretty much holds the power?
Good way, because you have very strong leaders, they can, modeling, but in the other way.
Yeah.
Those two parts. From my example, because I speak Spanish, I have a lot of like bonding with children that speak Spanish, so they all want to be together all the time. And I like to, get them exposed to other persons that don't speak Spanish, so they can, have to speak English in their Spanish. So I try to make it a little bit more diverse, and take it out from the comfort zone a little bit.
One way to learn English.
Yeah.
Immersion, it works, believe it or not, it works. And the duration of the group, right? As much as we like to say that we can go forever, the reality is that some kids only have a short attention span. And this is why we try to break down with activities and stuff like that, right? Is because we know that there's a certain amount of learning that you can do that you will take in, then you get bored and you check out. Right? That's what kids doodle, people check out, they start getting on each other's nerves. Now I've seen teachers do all these sensory things in the classroom, like I've seen the breaks, I've seen the waters, I've seen I was in a school that had bands across the bottom of the desk, so the kid can do that. I thought that was kind of cool. I said, they're finally figuring this out after, therapists beating it into their heads for decades, or sometimes fidget toys, as much as I say they're good, fidget toys can be a problem sometimes.
Yeah, it's a double blade.
Yeah.
Need to understand when and for how long.
And for how long, exactly.
The transitions sometimes are very difficult when you're transitioning from a fidget to class. Sometimes it's too much.
It's too much. It is. It's also heat plays into a factor, cold plays into a factor into the duration. If you have a very cold room, you know that the longer the kids are there, the more colder they get. And people start complaining and getting fussy and frustrated. Also too, like groups before lunch or groups after lunch. Me personally, both of them are loaded, because after lunch, what happens, they ate and they come out with a lot of energy. I never understood, that's like the worst time to give math class. It's the worst time to give math class. Or before, they're looking to go to lunch, they could care less if, and they give a math class right at lunchtime, which makes, I never understood that one, but eventually they'll figure that one out. So that's where, what, let's see. Rules for the group, so some of the things that I try to include in every group is rules, right? And the reason for the rules, so I know how to respect you and you know how to respect me. That's all it is about, and so that we have some sort of even playing field, that's all. Rules can be very simple, they can be very complicated. To me, the simpler, the better, the less, the better, right? An icebreaker, something to check in, something for you and I to connect. That's all it is, something for so that I get to know you, so that I don't forget your name, basically, and that's all it is. Other than that, I can start calling you different names, shirt names, sneaker names, also, because I'm trying to get to know you. But once I get to know you, you're in my head, I don't forget you. A check-in, sometimes kids walk in and we don't figure out how they're doing. And things go by the wayside. And then, well, sometimes when they come in the door, we only see the ones that are what? What are the kids we tend to focus on? The ones that are the problem.
Yeah, the misbehavior.
And then misbehaving. So the ones that come in, like we run this group at the Clifton Middle School. And there's this girl named Isabella. Isabella always sits in the middle. Isabella's very quiet. She doesn't say a word. You bring snacks, Isabella never eats. She's very quiet. You know how fast she'll be missed? Because she's so quiet, she's not doing anything. She doesn't get into the arguments with the rest of it. She just comes in and sits. And she flips up her laptop and does what she's expected to do. Nothing else. And so I make it a point every time Isabella, how you doing, Isabella? Of all the kids' names, the first name I know is her. Because I figured that's the one I'm gonna forget. All the other ones I know already, I know their names because they all do little things that are insane, right? We have one that tries to hide inside the cabinets. His name is Xavier, which get out of Xavier. You know, but Isabella, I make sure point why, because if I don't, she'll be forgotten. She'll be the one forgotten student. All right, and who knows, she may be the one that has the most needs inside the classroom. But because she's quiet, often we associate being quiet with being good or being okay, which is complete, for me, that's always been the complete opposite. If they're quiet, that's the one I need to focus on, because the other ones are yelling it anyway. Let's end in participation. I want people to participate, people to get involved, but I have to figure out a way to get them involved. So in order for me to get them involved, I have to know who they are, what makes them tick so they can get involved. You know, what gives them that little ants in their pants that makes them involved. And activity, again, like I said, any activity is doable. And we'll go into that in a little bit. And then the last one, before they leave, I want to make sure that there's a review and then there's an application so they can use that same tool when they leave. It's like, I don't know if you guys ever been in a session when all of a sudden the client clicks. It's like you can see it in their face and everything is like an explosion. You're like, ah, you got it. You finally figured it out. It took a while to get here, but you find, and it's so cool to see it in their face. They get that aha moment, like I got it. And I love that moment because you know you've done real good, real good work. And so that's how I want the kids to be able to have those aha moments. And then the goal is when they apply and they come back and report it, even more celebration, because oftentimes they don't report it, but I want to hear like, hey, I was about to fight this kid and I heard you in my head and I walked away. Very good time. I love those times. That's it. Myself. There's something in here. I'm gonna show this video real quick. It's a storytelling, unless anybody wants to read the story. Does anybody want to read the story? Anybody want to volunteer to read the story, or you want me to show the video? It's a book, it doesn't last that long, 5 minutes. Video? Video, okay, let me see if I mean, well, let me see if I can do it here. Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing, then I'm gonna go back to sharing. I think I need to stop sharing first. Hold on. And then I'll come back. Did I stop sharing already? Oh, I don't know what happened there. Is it there? Okay. You sure?
So we see your screen here inside, but not through Zoom.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to hold on. It's better when you embed the video, but this one wouldn't let me embed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is it?
Hit share again and pick that window that we're seeing.
Yep. It's an easy, it's a simple video. It's on YouTube. Oh. Can you see it? No, let me get there. Okay, hold on, I'm almost there. There we go, ready? Are you good? I don't know. Is it working over there? No,
Click that.
no, oh, maybe it did. Oh, then I gotta do the audio here.
But I think they can see it's still your home screen. Extended screen.
Oh, here we go. No,
Yes, please. Through Zoom, but on that screen it's not showing.
I know, it's right here.
Try to see.
So many things, I got so many things here open, it's crazy. It's right here.
My heart is full of
Oh, I know how I do it. I know how I do it. What with the modify, ready? There we go. It'll read it for me.
Yeah.
It'll read it for me. We know how. We'll get around it. Is it, you see my screen now? Okay, perfect. For you guys get the extended version. So you can turn on the back on the lights. We're gonna do it this way. Cause I can't figure it out.
In My Heart,
It's,
A Book of Feelings by Joe Wytech, illustrated by Christine Rusi. My heart is full of feelings, big feelings and small feelings, loud feelings and quiet feelings, quick feelings and slow feelings. My heart is like a house with all these feelings living inside. Sometimes my heart feels like a big yellow star, shiny and bright. I smile from ear to ear and twirl around so fast, I feel as if I could take off into the sky. This is when my heart is happy. Other times, my heart feels strong. I stand up tall as if I can touch the clouds. New people and places don't frighten me. I can do it. Watch me go. This is when my heart is brave. When I get really angry, my heart feels as if it's going to explode. Don't come near me. My heart is yelling hot and loud. This is when my heart is mad. But other times, my heart is cool. I bob along gently like a balloon on a string. My heart feels lazy and slow, as quiet as snowfall. This is when my heart is calm. On harder days, mean words hurt my feelings, and my heart feels hurt too. It's fragile and delicate, but it can be healed with extra kisses. This is when my heart is broken. Some days my heart feels as heavy as an elephant. There's a dark cloud over my head and tears fall like rain. This is when my heart is sad. But my heart doesn't stay sad. Like springtime after winter, the sun comes out again. My heart grows tall like a plant reaching towards the sky. This is when my heart is hopeful. Eek! When I see something scary, my heart beats fast. I feel cold as if a chilly breeze is crawling up my neck, and I run away as fast as I can. This is when my heart is afraid. When it's time for a bit of fun, my heart feels full of giggles and wiggles. Abracadabra! I hop around like a bouncy bunny. This is when my heart is silly. Sometimes I hide my heart away where no one can see, like my own small treasure. I don't want anyone to look at me. Safe on my swing, I can watch the world from up above. This is when my heart is shy. My heart can feel so many feelings, and yours can too. Today my heart is proud. How does your heart feel?
Pretty cool book. Let's just get back to over here. All this work. Oh, now it works fine.
You're on the presenter mode,
Okay,
so you see your presenter mode.
you don't want that mode?
So I think put use slideshow.
Where? Present them. Where? Stop sharing? Stop sharing.
Right there.
There we go. Perfect. Good.
Is it good on?
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, so this, I found this book, right? And what I like about this book, right, is that it shows all the feelings that kids go through. But not only kids, but adults go through it. Teenagers go through, we all go through the same thing. The only difference between us and a kid, right, is that some of us adults, not all, see, I run into adults who don't understand their own feelings. They get anxiety. I guess that I had a young girl in my office and very severe anxiety. She's in high school, very severe anxiety. And sometimes she can't tell what's going on. And that leads to irritability. It leads to confusion, it leads to anger and frustration and sadness and hurt. And this all happens when she's in school. And she doesn't understand why is this happening? Why is this occurring to her? You know, where is this all coming from? And she doesn't understand. Their feelings and emotions all in here and they all come out. When you're depressed, some of these stuff gets a little bit more amped up, right? And you don't understand why. Some of these kids they don't understand what's going on. Even worse when kids have been traumatized by something that physically happened to them. And they don't understand the behaviors that come out afterwards. Adults sometimes don't even understand, why is this kid acting this way? You know, why is this kid behaving this way? Why do they talk this way? You know, why can't I reach them? And so what happens? Those are some of the kids that we tend to push away. And those are the kids that I encourage you to get closer to, so that you can understand what's going on. And then you can help them understand what's going on inside them. That's what our purpose is, right? As therapists, is to help you understand what's going on inside you. You know, but they have to be willing to define it themselves as well. Good book to have, but also for our own mindset. It's a mindset to also have that everybody's going through something at some point in time. And then our job is to hopefully help facilitate. So a lot of this stuff is just right here, building rapport, building that trust. When a kid comes and shares something with you, as bad as it is, there's a reason why they shared it specifically with you. You know, and sometimes you may have to take actions that you don't want to, but you have to because your job tells you to, right? You're all mandated reporters at some point, right? And so, well, I don't want to ruin that trust. Sometimes taking those extra sentences will further strengthen that trust, because there's a reason why they came to me. They already know, if they don't want me to act, like all the kids and families I work with, if you don't want me to do something about it, don't tell me. Because the second that you tell me, this is the second that I act. And then like I tell kids, I don't stop, I'm like, it's just don't stop until I just like a robot, I don't stop. You know, why? Because you came to me for that reason, otherwise you're never gonna tell me. Because they get to know my character, they know. Same thing with employees, I tell them, if you tell me something, you know I gotta do something about it. You can't just tell me not to do nothing. Because that's a break of trust right there. And there's genuine interest, I take interest in everything the kid does. Whether I like it or not, I remember I had a therapist and there was this young girl and she loved anime. I said, you need to go home and learn anime. I'm not doing it, I don't like that, then how are you gonna connect with this kid? How are you gonna connect with this kid? If you don't take the 5 minutes or 10 or 15 to learn about anime. If I had to go and learn about nails and hair coloring, and just because I wanted to connect with a girl that I was working with, because she loved hair. And she loved all that beauty stuff, so I researched beauty salons, I researched nails, I researched different inks on nails. I learned so much. And now we're sitting with her and we're having a conversation, and I'm taking the lessons in nail art, right? And I'm turning that into what? Therapy. Building a trust. And at the same time, teaching how to cope with her anger and her frustration. Non-judgmental, I don't care what you do. Everybody screws up, everybody does something. It's okay. That's how we learn, right? If somebody's non-judgmental, they come with whatever they have, it doesn't really matter to me. It doesn't. I've learned that everybody's who they are. And my job is to accept you for who you are, and we work from there. Cultivate some empathy and understanding. The empathy is hard to teach. It really is hard to teach because you really have to take a genuine interest in what the person is going through. And sometimes we allow culture and economic status to come into interfere with that when they don't have to. You just have to meet the person where they're at and understand them. These are some of the things you have to use in order to build a relationship. Listen. Sometimes all we gotta do is shut up and listen. And one of my clients frustrates me when he says this to me. I said, I want a job like you. And I said, okay. He said, why? Because all you do is sit there and do nothing. And when he told me that for the first time, I really had to think about it. Like I do work, you know, I work hard. And then I thought about, the reactions I do is just sit there and do nothing. All I do is listen. And I'm like, well, there's a lot more into this. Just want to make sure that I want to preserve my field a little bit. There's a little bit more that goes into this field, right? But all I was doing was listening, because I spent a lot of time listening. One of my teachers one time told me, listen more, talk less. And she gave me like a mathematical quiz, like 70-30, 70% listening, 30% talking. And what I've also learned that if you listen long enough, the person will solve their own problems just in them talking. It's kind of weird that way. I know it's weird, but eventually the person talks long enough, they'll solve their own issue. And all you did was sit there and do nothing. You're literally getting paid to sit there and do nothing. Just listen, the biggest one. Believe it or not, listening also fosters good communication, because the person knows you're listening.
Sometimes when you listen yourself,
Yeah.
when they're talking, they start to listen to themselves, and this is like, oh, now that I am saying out loud, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
now that I am saying it, it kind of like, I get why this is happening.
And that is like an aha moment. It's cool when they figure that out. And all you did literally said, you go to school to sit and listen and do nothing. That's basically what you're going to school for, But people are gonna see you and they're like, this is the best therapist ever. Best therapist ever. I had this one lady that I always video chat therapy, right? Telehealth therapy. And you are the best listener. So she barely let me speak. It was like almost 45 to 50 minutes on, and then at the end she would ask, do you have any interventions for me to do? Like, okay, let me spit them out real quick. But in the meantime, she's solving her issues as we're going along. She's solving them all, and it's pretty cool to watch. One of the things in my, I'm LMHC, that's my background, right? Licensed mental health counselor, that's my background. I also have a background in marriage and family therapy and substance abuse. Right, so that's my background. But And LMHC, that we're taught, we're ingrained that everybody knows how to solve their own issues. Everybody already knows it. Our job is to help facilitate that learning, but they already have it inside them. You know, so we're not sitting there to try to give you, you know, the 10 steps on how to resolve this, because you already know the answer. It's just gotta come out, that's all. We're like a bridge, if you wanna look at us that way. And I really do take that to heart, so, because your life is your life, my life is my life. So I can't tell you how to live your life, because that's your life. You may wanna be a pilot and do other stuff, I don't know, I could research how to become a pilot, but that's as far as it goes. I'm never gonna be in that pilot seat, you know, so, and then whatever your life is gonna be, you may wanna move to a different part of the country. I'm Springfield, born and raised in Springfield, but that may work for you, but not work for me. So for me to tell you something that works for me and doesn't work for you, I gotta come from your perspective all the time. Hence the listening, hence the communication. Always be clear, always be consistent. Action matches words. You know, always, your action needs to match your words, especially with kids. If you say you're gonna do something, you gotta do it. Otherwise, don't say it. Same thing with adults. If you say it, you gotta do it. Otherwise, they're gonna hold you accountable to that. And they will let you feel it in the most awkwardest time, they'll let you feel it. You've never been there for me. I've seen that happen in sessions where the adult gets frustrated with the provider because they've never been there for them. They've never been consistent with them. And they'll let you feel it. Always collaboration and shared decisions. If they get to make their decisions and us support it, that's what we're supposed to do. You know, if they want to carry out a project, my job is to figure out how to facilitate that. How can we carry out your idea versus my idea? It doesn't matter my idea. What is it you want to do? Allow for mistakes, allow for decisions, again, maintain clear professional boundaries. But even on this one, the last one is one of the, sometimes the ones I see broken all the time by trained therapists. They break these boundaries for whatever odd reason. And they don't need to know everything that goes on in your life. They don't. Clients don't need to, they don't need to. That's your life. Your life is your life. The less they know about you and the more you know about them, that's a good therapeutic relationship. If they know too much about you, guess what happens? What happens in the sessions? What happens?
Focus gets turned over there. Counselor.
Focus gets turned on the counselor. And the sessions become hey, what's going on with you today? And the therapist always loves to share. I went here, I went there, I went this, I traveled, and the client doesn't have the finances to go anywhere. They take the bus to get to you, to come to hear about your life. They need to deal with their own life. Same thing with the kid. They come to school because you're gonna take an interest in their life. You know, and once that dynamic changes, all of a sudden, it doesn't become about the kid anymore, it becomes about you. And you have to be very careful with that. Even in groups, you have to be very careful with that, because in groups, we're all sharing. And sometimes we want to share all these things, cool things, like I was running an anime group, and I actually got to go to Anime Con. And when I was there, I was thinking all these things, I want to share with them all. But then they didn't get to go. And that's like, but you didn't get to go, and that sucks that you didn't get to go. And it's expensive to go, so I know why most of them didn't get to go. And maybe their parents don't want to drive all these hours to go. So I switched it around. What do you want to do? Forget what I did. I did it, that's fine. You don't need to know about what I did. I want to know what you did this weekend. What did you do? What fun did you have? Because as much as I want to share, it's really not about me. It's not about what happened in my life. It's their life all the time. You share your life with your colleagues. Hopefully they'll listen. Hopefully they'll listen. Sometimes they don't listen, and I got ahead on the video. So behavior management, again, I'm trying to teach you all this so that we can get to the fun stuff, right? But behavior management is very important in the classroom. Switch, I don't know why I went to that way, but no, very important. And I wrote, I'm gonna forward this, I don't wanna read all of these, right? I'm gonna forward these to Alicia, that Alicia can give you guys a PowerPoint, but there's some of them that I do like. All behavior has a function. Usually adjustment counselors do a BIP. Everybody knows what a BIP is? behavior intervention plan, everybody knows what the FBA is, functional behavior assessment, right? So we get the FBA, then we get the BIP, right? And then the goal is to follow the BIP, and everything comes out well. We reduce the behavior, hopefully. At least that's the intention. That's the intention. We know that sometimes it doesn't work, although I've seen FBA's work or BIPs work. If it's done correctly and you have all these people on board, they do work. But most of the time they don't work that well. But there's a reason for the behavior. There's a reason for our goal, right? And your group goal is to figure out why this behavior. Sometimes, believe it or not, it could be me causing the issue. It could be the teacher causing the issue. It could be the counselor causing the issue without even realizing. For example, a kid all of a sudden comes in and he slams the door. He comes in the classroom and slams the door. Everybody looks around. Everybody just keeps quiet. What is most likely you think is going to happen in that scenario? The students were okay with it. What about the teacher? What do you think she's going to do?
Screen probably.
Or make
And
a
appointed.
comment
Make
about
a comment.
embarrassing.
And then if that kid has that kind of attitude, what do you think as soon as you don't allow the kid to save face, what do you think is gonna happen to that student? You just said something negative to him or to them, what do you think they're gonna come back with?
Something negative.
That's something negative. Oftentimes I have seen students, I had this one student, I just met him yesterday. So he fell asleep on the bus, don't know how he did this, but he fell asleep on the bus. He didn't get off at the school. The bus driver drove to the lot and brought him back to the school and he figured out he was in the bus. Because the bus drivers have to check the bus. So he fell asleep on the bus in the morning, goes to the lot, now he's an hour late by the time he comes back. He decided to walk around the school because he was in the middle of a period. And he was scared that as soon as he walked into the classroom, the teacher was the first one to go at it with him. So he's walking around the school and then we have, the mom is worried, staff are hunting him on the ground. They finally figured out, and all it was, I didn't want to go in late because the teacher would have said something. So he preferred to be out in the cold than walk in the classroom and have the teacher address him in front of the whole entire classroom. I had a student that was always absent. He had like, I think he had over 30-something absence by January. Always absent. And I said, you gotta go to school, man. So I would go to the school, talk to the counselor, talk to the adjustment counselor, like get him going. And as soon as he walks in that classroom, well, it's about time you here. What is your name? Because we haven't seen you in forever. And I know what he felt because I did the same thing. When I was in high school, I would miss so many days walking, the person interview, you get that right from the teacher. And then what happens? All your peers are laughing at you. And that goes on for the rest of the day. All because we have a behavior and we're not responding to it in the best manner. And so we have to address that with the teacher. You guys have to address that with the teacher, because it is your job. Other than that, you guys are gonna be there trying to fix behaviors that somebody else is causing issues and damaging. Yesterday I was contemplating when I do therapy, like what do I do? Because I wanted to bring you like, what is exactly that I do? So I figured I work in 4 areas. 4 areas all the time. One is my client, always addressing my client, always working with their behaviors. Number one area. Number second area, they have parents, and I'm working with their parents. I don't just ever work with the client. Real bad habit, a lot of therapists have. They'll just work with the client, they'll forget about the parents. Real bad. You're mistake number 1 right there. You need to work with the parents. Then my second work is with the teachers. If they go to school, if they're having school issues. If they're not having school issues, then I'm not working with the teacher. But if they're having school issues, I gotta work with the teacher. Why? Because I need to know the dynamics of the classroom. I need to know what the student is responding to. And then my last one that I work with, which I didn't think I did this, but I know I do this all the time, is I work with the administration. Because sometimes there's bad admin. There's just horrible admin, but there's great teachers. And sometimes there's horrible teachers, but good admin. I need to make them both somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. And we always blame the parents. So we know that parents are gonna get blamed for no matter what they do, they're always being blamed. So sometimes I gotta come in with the parent, I gotta support the parent, I gotta support the teacher, and I gotta navigate all these different dynamics. All for one person, the student. And I gotta maintain relationships with everybody. And the best talking terms, because sometimes they're not, sometimes they're yelling terms. Especially when I get at it, when I go at it with the admin, or I go at it with the teacher, they could be yelling. Things have happened. I've had a lot of experience where, people have said a lot of nasty things to me. Not the parent, usually I get that from the admin or the teachers. But I have to navigate those relationships, something that you have to learn as well. Because in behavior management, sometimes again, we look at the student, but we don't bother to look at what are the antecedents, what are the triggers. You have to look at that. And if they offer you a student and you take them, right? Sometimes they tell you all the things that are bad about the student, but do you take time to research behind the scenes of what's going on in that student's life? So you have to research, you have to get to know what's going on. You can't just say, okay, you give me a student, okay, he just behaves badly. I need to not go do my due diligence, contact the mom. Talk to some of his peers, maybe I can find out, maybe I can go watch him at lunchtime, see how he is. What does he like to do? Like, I have to get to know the student so that we can figure out what's going on. It works, believe it or not. Asking questions about the behavior allows us to problem solve versus punishing. Oftentimes, we're quick to punish. We're quick to punish the student versus understanding why was that triggered. Like, for example, I was in one of my groups that we were running at a school. There was a dynamic couple. There was a student, a female student, a male student, and we know they had a relationship with each other. We knew that. You can pick up on their recruiter, they're sitting next to each other all the time. And all of a sudden, the relationship goes, how did I know that? Because they're not sitting together anymore. And then all of a sudden, I would hear her and I would see her in the classroom break out crying. And he don't care no more. He's with his buddies. He's doing his own thing now. It's like, I moved on. But she over here crying. I'm like, okay, the dynamics is now off. It got into another level. Right, now I'm only running the group. I'm trying to help her. But she kept saying, I need to go talk to him on the hallway. That's not gonna happen. Because we already know something real bad going on in here. And I'm not gonna be the one facilitating worse. So we had to pull the teachers aside. Hey, do you understand that this is occurring in the classroom? That this dynamic between these two students has shifted. We talked to the adjustment council. Do you understand that these dynamics have shifted? What are you guys doing? What's going on? If we only see, I'm only seeing a piece of the puzzle. I'm not seeing the whole pieces put together. And so I'm gonna say, can you help out? Can you do this? What are you guys doing? Eventually that girl gets into a fight with another girl. Out of the blue, this girl shows up. Out of the blue, they get into a fight. What do you think was happening there? You know what's happening. But why did it occur? Because the dynamics that were being observed weren't addressed by the staff that needed to address it. Just recently up at one of the safe schools. They don't like being called safe anymore. I got told that the hard way. But the student came to the principal and told the principal, this is what's happening to me right now. She told him. Now, the funny part is I investigate, she has an FBA and she has a bib. And in her bib, she's supposed to tell somebody that she has an issue. And in her bib, it tells the person that needs to respond and help her. Well, guess what the principal did? Let me investigate. Didn't bother to pull her out of the group. So the principal was busy asking questions in the cafeteria. Another girl comes out of nowhere, guess what happens to my client? All of a sudden, a fight. Who's the one now paying the price? My client, 15-day suspension. For something that the kid did what she was supposed to do. She told an adult. She told. So she tells you, you have to do something. But didn't do nothing. So all of a sudden, now she's being the one escorted. Now she has to go to a different school for 15 days. That's not fair to her. It's not fair to her. Of course, my tongue goes a little quicker. So I say this and I already get a bad reputation with the same schools. But that's fine. We'll fix that relationship as we go along. But again, the behavior is an issue. There's a reason why that behavior occurred. And I have to respond to it. Whether negative or positive, my job is to respond to that behavior. No, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going definitely the wrong way. I like this one. What we do is more important than how we feel. So if I feel crappy, I still have to do good. Even if the teacher up there feeling bad that day, or her house just burned down, her best bet is just to call out. My best bet is to call out if I don't feel that good. If I have a client that I just don't feel good that day and I can't, I'm not with it that day, it's best to not see your clients that day. Because that's the day that you may do some damage without even wanting to. The student's behavior is not my fault, but how I respond to it. But my response to it is my responsibility. It's how I respond. It's not my fault that kid got out. Now, sometimes we do take that into, we're running a group and all of a sudden we get a fight in that group and we blame ourselves. I should have done something different. No, it's not. The behavior is not your fault. It's what did you do after that? What did you do to respond to that behavior? That's your responsibility. When that girl fought in that classroom, the kids came back the next time. When they fought in the group, they came back and said, listen, for now, we're not doing that no more. And guess what just happened? As soon as I finished saying it, guess what happened right after that? Somebody else tried to pop up a fight in the same classroom. I just finished saying no fighting. And I went up to them, listen, what did you guys think I just said for? You go sit over there, and we're done with it. We're not even gonna call teachers and we're not doing that, we're done. And then at the end of the classroom, I make sure that they were friends at the end of the classroom. Because what can happen here can carry out somewhere else. So I had to make sure that, and then the week after that, we kept checking in, nothing. Oh, keep going the wrong way. Take the time to reflect about your interaction with students and children. Like, how do you reflect? What are some of your interactions with your students? Good, bad? Did you get to know a little bit more about them today than you did yesterday? Did they connect? Did you connect with them in their level? Do the next time they come in, they're one of the first persons they want to seek and they want to be around? I've seen that in teachers. Sometimes we think we think, well, it's a better school system, or it's a better, and I would say I would always be against that, because sometimes it all depends on who's standing in the front. And I'm not trying to throw at teachers, I'm not, because they got a lot of dynamics to deal with, right? But whoever's in the front, if their spirit is well, if who they are is like energetic and they want to get to know you, that dynamics in that room changes. It changes a lot. And so you have the power to change the dynamics in your classroom. You really do. Whether you can do it through negativity, reinforcing rules and all, you can do it that way. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but sometimes you can have a good time and enjoy yourself in the classroom, be all full of joyful kids who want to learn and want to be a fun. And you'd be surprised how much they learn from you and how then they take that and go somewhere else with it. All the speaking is almost done. And then we get to the fun stuff. Recognize that going against the culture and of obedience and discipline is not always signs of weakness, but rather evidence of effective thought, self-control, and planned support. Sometimes kids have no choice but to go against the teacher. I have this little kid that I work with in Holyoke. He goes to actually Holyoke High. What the teachers don't know, this kid has a history of domestic violence. His stepdad beat the living hell out of him. And that's how I got to him. His dad beat him up really, really bad. And so the mother and his two sisters had to escape the home. And they moved from Connecticut to Holyoke. They'd never been in Holyoke before. These are Connecticut kids. They lived and raised in Connecticut. All of a sudden, they find themselves in the flats of Holyoke. Different neighborhood than they're used to. Now they're over here. Flats of Holyoke, it's not like, it's a very bad neighborhood. So he's in there and he has no friends, no family, no nothing. His only goal is, I need to make some friends. Do you think he usually makes friends with the best friends, or do you make friends with the bad friends? The one he starts making friends with the bad kids. The kids who have issues, the kids who everybody else casts away, those are the ones he makes friends, because those are the only ones who want to recruit anybody. And they recruit him. So he's in school. In order for him to fit in, what does he have to do? Adapt the same behaviors they have. So when the teacher comes up to him and says, why he had his head down purposely, why you get your head, put your head up. What do you think he's gonna do? His boys are sitting with him. He has no choice but to respond in a negative manner. No choice. Because his boys or the teacher, who has a stronger relationship? His boy. And so he wants to impress them. Who's the one that now doesn't understand that the teacher doesn't understand the dynamic? He's just trying to fit in. That's all he's trying to do. And you're preventing him from fitting in. Because if he's obedient to you, then he's disobedient to them. And you're only gonna be with him for what, an hour a day? He's gonna be with his boys every day of the week, even after school. I need to fit in with them. And oftentimes we don't understand that dynamic that occurs in the classroom. Or sometimes when they come, they send them to our groups. We don't understand why they send them to our groups, right? We just want to reduce the behavior. But we need to go back and look at where did the behavior come from? What is this kid's history? This kid, all he knows is how to get hit. For several years now, he's been undergoing this kind of torture in his household. He's getting hit. His father tried to take his Xbox. His stepdad tried to take his Xbox away. His stepdad used his cell phone to track his mother. All these things he had to deal with. And now he just wants a friend. And if we understood that as adults, guess what we should have done? Become his friend. Try to get to know him. Create a relationship with him. So he doesn't disrespect us in the classroom. So I go see him. I'm like, I understand. I get it. You're trying to impress your boys. I get that. Can we figure out some other way? Can we figure out a way to still be valid to your boys, but not disrespect the teacher in that kind of dynamics? I also have to have a conversation with the teacher. Every time you do this, this is what's going to happen. This is his automatic response. Automatic response. That's not going to change. I can't change that. Because his boys are more important to him than you. But we have to figure this out. I can just go the right way. Finally, de-escalations, because this is the last one, then we can have some fun here. We'll take a break and then we'll have some fun. Intervention. De-escalation skills. How many times you get called to de-escalate something going on? Every day. Every day. What are some of your tricks to de-escalate? I can learn from you. I can take out some tricks. What are some of your tricks in de-escalation?
Depend on everything, like depend the age, appropriate, depends on like what the situation, the environment. So, ones that usually help with kind of like covers a lot, it's like the deep breathings.
Deep breathing?
Yeah. And stuff like that, like mindfulness. Just depending if you have a relationship with the kid, sometimes it's a kid that you've never seen in your life, so that's a kind of difficult because the bonding is not there. But yeah.
Sometimes the stress ball,
Stress balls are good, yeah? What else? But in the moment, when you know they're yelling and screaming, what do you do? In the moment, when you walk in that classroom, you hear that screaming. What do you do in that moment?
Just say five things that they can see, probably down the 5.1 technique.
Okay, I know that one. Then I'll go to you.
Sometimes like, when you put in that environment, put them in a space where they can like feel those emotions at that moment without.
To get rid of it all. Yeah, let them scream it out.
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk, use that one. They're quick with that one. They're like, yeah, go. So anybody going for a walk, they may run.
That's at the outside. So we run around.
I had a kid who just really needed a distraction, and he's super into dance and bachata, and I'm like, all right, teach me bachata.
Hey, that works. That works. I'm good. I'm big on distraction skills. I can distract the hell out of anybody doing anything. One of my things that I learned quickly in residential programs was distraction. Because in residential, we were taught how to take students down. We were taught, different holds and stuff like that. So we were able to put hands on people. I never liked touching anybody. If I don't like to be touched, I definitely don't want to touch anybody else. Plus, being a big person, there's a good chance that you're going to get hurt before I do. Or there's a real horrible chance that I get hurt and then I'm going to take a long time to recover and I got bills to pay. So I don't want to be touching people. And so I learned quickly how not to do that. It's either learn not to touch, right? Or learn how to de-escalate in a way that's distractful. So I use all sorts of things. I learned magic just to do that. So I would take kids and I would make things disappear out of nowhere and they'd be like, what's going on over there? And then we'd quickly get them off of their off of their situation and on to something different. Because that's what happens in your mindset, when you're angry and you're frustrated, you're stuck. You can't think straight. You're stuck, you literally can't think. If you look at all the anxiety and all the depression, you're stuck. That's all it is, you're stuck. And so in order to unstick you, right, I just gotta get you thinking. But in order to get you thinking, I have to get you off of that one thought that you're stuck on. It's like a broken record. If anybody heard a broken record, you start skipping over and over, I gotta get you off of that. And how do I do that? By getting your mindset on something different. So I learned magic. I always had a watch that always lit up. Kids love that. I always had a ball in my pocket or something that would distract you, that will make noise. Just ridiculous things to totally distract you. I would say something stupid, something that will catch a kid right off guard, like the bachata thing. I would say something just totally dumb, you know? I will make a joke. I will make a noise, anything to distract the student in the moment. I will call them by like the shirt name. They're like, that's not my name. I know. Now you can go. All these things are designed to do escalate. That's all it is. I need to get you off the mindset that you're angry with that teacher, you're angry with that peer, and on to now healing and being able to let go, let yourself be heard and let yourself heal inside so that we can work on something else. That's all it is. And the moment, when they're de-escalating, is that the moment to remind them of the rules? To remind them of the expectations? To remind them of the chart on the wall that's what they're supposed to behave? As many times I tell people not to do that. That's the first thing they go for. When do you remind them of what they broke, of what they did wrong? When? Way later. Way later. You want the kid to be so calm that he can take that kind of, and if they go back up again, guess what that tells you? They're not calm enough. They're not ready to hear that. But sometimes we as adults, we want to address it now. And it doesn't need to, you need to address it later. Right now is to get him to calm down. Wait until the person releases their frustration and explain how they're feeling before you do anything. Before you say one thing to them, before you come up with one plan or one plan of action, before anything happens, your job is to allow them to be able to say, and sometimes I have to sit there and hear them over and over and over saying the same thing. And I already know what they need to do, right? Because we're adults, we can process, we can problem solve, but that's how I solve it. How do they gonna solve it for themselves? Because if they learn how to solve it for themselves, guess what they're gonna do next time? They're gonna use that same skill and they're gonna resolve the next one. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one from there. Takes time. It really does take time to understand that. This is one of my favorite. Allow people to save space. I don't have to save face. I don't have to embarrass you. I don't have to sit there and embarrass you to make a point across. And sometimes we forget that kids don't like being embarrassed. Adults don't like it. But we forget that kids don't like it either. And this one, don't take it personally. Avoid confrontation. Sometimes we take things personally, like a disrespect. If a kid comes in and disrespects you in front of everybody, we have to respond because I'm the adult. But in order for me to counteract what that kid did, I have to respond with even more force and a bigger disrespect. And then in that kid, if he's gonna counteract me, what does he have to do now? Even take it to a different level. And then if he takes it to another level, I gotta go to another level. And eventually we know who's gonna win. The teacher's always gonna win, because what's she gonna do? Or he gonna do? Kick him right out the classroom, suspend him for a couple of days. So she already has the authority and the power. You don't have to express it, you already have it. Don't let somebody take it away from you. But you have the authority and the power to act differently. That's the power that you have. And that's the power that I'm hoping that we understand that we can understand that power and we can use that power into its full effectiveness when we're in the classroom with kids. Where am I? I think that was the last one. So group activities, the reason for, and this is the last one, and then we'll take a quick 5-minute break. Is that fine? 5-minute group break? Good. So the reason why we do group activity is one, we want to build relationships. We want to fool around, we want to clown around, we want to laugh, we want to joke. Sometimes that brings people together, just like food, bring people together. Well-being kind of helps us to get those good energy vibes. I remember working with this one girl one time, a long time ago. She rough little kid, rough. and she's about to turn 18, 17. Early was pregnant, her mother took away her child, because she couldn't obviously care for it. That was one frustration, one trauma for her. Her boyfriend that she had a child with left her. She had that other trauma going on there, a lot of depression, a lot of anger, suspected bipolar, all these things going on with her, and then they tell me to go in there and work with her. I'm like, I've never worked with a girl before, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, they're different, I guess. And then, how's she gonna talk to me? You know, and so she wanna talk to me, I don't know what to do. So I went and got a 5-pound medicine ball. I said, listen, you wanna go outside and play with this medicine ball? She entertained me. And so we started back and forth, tossing that ball. That's all we did for a couple sessions. She loved that ball. Ball was heavy, 5 pounds, catching over and over again. And you get tired after a little while. But I built a good relationship with her, all I'm touching a medicine ball. Cost me, I think, a couple of dollars at Ocean City. Orange, I remember the ball, it's orange ball. But I learned that through her, that sometimes all it takes is just have some fun. It doesn't take me sitting there and telling you what you did wrong. Because again, I believe you already know what you did wrong. Our job is how we can facilitate doing something different. Or how you can facilitate or figure it out. Communication, verbal, non-verbal, in dynamics and having fun. We see a lot of things that are coming across, which, you know, you've seen kids look at each other and they know they've already communicated. You don't know it, but they've already done that. And they're quick at it when they're quick at it. Resiliency, empathy, it teaches a new coping skill, something to do, something that they can go home and share at home. You know, as you get older, you have kids, right? And sometimes they'll come to school with something, hey, I want to try it at home. Your job as a parent, try it at home. How to relate to others in a positive manner, because sometimes that's all they're doing is negative. That's all they're doing is yelling at each other, making fun of each other. This is a chance to reflect on each other, to love on each other, to show each other something different and to be a nice thing. And then finally, the main one is to reinforce the lesson that you're trying to teach. The lesson that we're trying to teach, and so they can take it home. Because sometimes that's the only way that the kids learn. All of a sudden, hey, I did this activity, it taught me how to do this. I understand it now. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break, then we come here and then I can switch and get ready for all the activities. And then so I need everybody to participate. You're gonna look like a fool, you're gonna do things that make you a little funny, make you a little weird, but if you participate, you will have a good time. And then you can steal all of these, because I stole them from somebody else. So I stole it, I'm gonna give you what I stole, and you can steal it and give it to somebody else. But I can see the books. If you guys want to see some books that I like to have. The book, put it on. I'm pretty sure. Or a computer. So, you guys don't know your community, right? You guys have lived here forever, hopefully. But if not, that's fine. You have cell phones, right? So you guys know your kids, right? You know the kids that you work with, you know the dynamics of your school and things like that. So one quick intervention you can do for your kids so they can self-care. Right? They can take care of themselves, they can meet their own needs, especially when you're not around. It's to teach them how to use the internet, believe it or not, to meet their needs. They meet their needs in video games and in other inappropriate things, but when they really have a need that's legit, they tend not to know how to use a cell phone. It's just like when it comes to time management, you tell them use your calendar, it's right on the phone. How do you use the calendar? Where is it? Oh, that's an app that I deleted because I needed the space from all my other apps. So something's very simple, just the phone, you know, but it is what it is, right? So each one of you guys just grab where are the markers at? What are the markers? Grab a marker and write down something in here that you find on the internet that you know is good for self-care. It could be an app, it could be something like call this number or call that number. Or hey, if you're in the time of crisis, call this number. So if you have one already in mindset, write it up. Because the goal is for all of you guys to have this information. If you haven't, if you understand all the kids in the classroom, write it on there. Something that they can Google. If you know the app, you know the URL or whatever, just write it on there. Boyd Garden. I have to, I'm gonna remove that. If online, if you guys have some, if online you have some, if you can send them to Alicia, and she's more than happy to put them on the board. The board is kind of big thing so that you can, use it later.
Okay, so for those that have resources, maybe it's in the Boston, Worcester area, share it on the chat and we will have it written on the board.
We have two of them, if you guys wanna, there's two of them. Oh, that's right, that isn't the one, it just came out. They came out. They came out,
In the
that's right.
chat.
Yeah, they are on that.
What do all kids usually have their phone on them, right?
Yeah.
They all have their phone, so we gotta utilize that tool. For at least some sort of positivity.
So let me go with it. And it's only be like.
What were you saying, Jeremy?
Huh? So any apps, any kind of resources that people have that they can share with others, right? And so that we can have it on a list and then you guys can take a picture and you can utilize those lists as well. Like I'm gonna take a picture of this because I want to. Like, I don't know what 988 is, so I definitely gotta look it up. Google one, I think that is the Springfield one, if I'm correct, right? Is that the Springfield one? Oh, Connecticut?
988 is the National Suicide Hotline number.
Oh, nice, that's very good,
From the longer 800 number to be 988.
that's very good. Everybody here know the crisis phone number to Springfield? Everybody know that crisis is now divided into different sectors now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And there's another one now called IHD. Anybody know what IHD is? Is a good way to keep people services, kid services that need it right away to prevent hospitalization. And they take you right away, follow you for 4 to 6 weeks until they get the other teams in place. IHD, ICC. You know, that. Funny videos and memes on YouTube, definitely. You'd be surprised in a time of moment, your phone is probably your easiest friend for kids. It's the easiest one. Fake Show, I love that one. Because they can paint with their fingers and distract. Forever, another one, good. Anything else online? Anybody else has another one?
That was from online.
Online. Again, sometimes we have to facilitate this. But believe it or not, in the classroom, we sometimes avoid the cell phone because we're told to put it away, put it in the bag, right? For some schools, they put it in those little, whatever it is, pouches, right? And I understand, not gonna disagree with them, not gonna disagree with them in the classroom, it becomes a distract, I understand that. But when they leave the classroom, when they leave the school, they have their phone on. And sometimes in a moment of distress, these are some of the things that can help a student out. Right, and if you can give them more phone numbers and ways to call, who to call, or apps where they can just check in. You know, these students, they'll benefit from that, I guarantee you, and the older they are, the more they'll benefit from it. Easy activity, very simple activity. It's simple. So take a picture of it, or it'll be up there, at least I'll have it. I'll take a picture for myself. The other one is resiliency. I stole this from somebody online. If you look it up, the guy's a brain on this one. So he teaches kids resiliency with this tennis ball, right? And what he does, all he does is bounce it. In the higher ball, you know this tennis ball is very resilient. And I'm gonna try to give you the quick version. That if you were to break this tennis ball, like cut a hole in it, you think it would still bounce? You think it wouldn't bounce?
Well, depends how big the cut is.
That's true, if I cut it all the way through, I ain't gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bounce, right? The tennis ball, right? It bounces as well too, right? Tennis ball bounces, right? But which do you think is more resilient? If this cut a hole in it, you think this will still bounce? No ping pong. Huh? And they're gonna fall. Well, if it gets a well, they're
I'll
gonna
get that,
bounce.
yeah. I can say, depends on the size of the wound you're talking about.
So we're gonna play this quick game with the tennis ball, right? I'm gonna catch it. So the goal would be to pass that tennis ball around the whole room without touching the floor.
Touching the floor.
Without touching the floor. So no, everybody has to be able to catch. So remember who you're gonna pass it to. The goal is to pass it around the room without touching the floor. You cannot fall.
Hold on.
Easy enough.
Easy enough.
Little.
Yeah, well, that was all. Okay.
See, now we're moving.
Don't drop it. Oh, yeah, she decided, she took a risk. She took a risk. You know, you didn't toss it. Oh, it's over. Start all over again. Back to. Start all over again. Yeah, you messed up.
It was a table.
I know, make it around the room. Make it around the room. Oh, she gonna take a risk. That's a heck of a risk taker. Start all over again.
Check.
Come on, one time. Around the room.
Oh.
Ah! We ain't catching now.
Oh.
One more time.
All right.
One more time, let's see. No, we got, it's all, everybody touches in one shot. Oh, that's a big one.
Red sweater, catch it.
What's up with the computer? Oh, that's in the coffee. Put in the coffee. I got it, right behind you.
Yeah.
We'll try one more, but we'll try with the little ping pong. Try with the little ping pong. Let's try with the ping pong.
Oh,
What if you don't have kids? No, I think.
Just pass it one by one and everybody get it.
Where's the point in that?
There you go. Oh, you got a risk taker. You know, ping pong more than the fly ball.
No, it does not. I would say make it your attention zone. Hey, Olivia.
No. You know, that was again. Oh, we'll let the bounce slide. We'll let the bounce slide, the little bounce. There we go. So, hey. So a small game like this. These are like, I don't know, you buy like a bag, and then it's probably a couple of bucks, I have a lot of ping pong balls. But a small game like that, right? And all we try and teach, right? Communication, if you look at it, I was trying to teach you resilience, right? Which one is gonna be stronger? And who's gonna survive more? Then even despite the fact that we can pierce a hole in this, it will still bounce. Believe it or not, it will still, I don't wanna pierce a hole. I need the ball. My daughter wants these back. So it'll still bounce. Despite that some of us sometimes endure things, it will still bounce. It will still keep going, right? That teach a lesson, we'll still keep going. Right? And all of us, sometimes we get tossed around all over the place. Right? Because sometimes like, doesn't it feel like that sometimes? Sometimes we feel like we're getting pulled and pushed and all over the place in all different directions. Right? And oftentimes we don't make it around that room because we fall to the floor. But somebody's always willing to pick us up. Isn't that kind of cool? Somebody's always willing to pick us up and move along. These are easy to make. These are easy to make. All it is glue, glitter, and water. That's all it is in a jar. But I crazy glued the jar together so that nobody would do this to me. Believe it or not, it's also glass, so you don't drop it. I'll pass this around. These are I did these as calming jars, or you can call them. So the goal is to shake it and you look at it and you control your breathing until it's done. Now, I made one with a lot of glue. The more glue, the longer it takes. So if you don't make one that takes a couple hours. They'll figure it out after a while. They're like, well, why is it taking so long? It doesn't ever go down. But these are, you can do them out of regular bottles. You don't have to use, I use the glass because I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted it to look pretty. But you can use regular, what is that, water bottles, leftover water bottles, or, you know, the empty water bottles that everybody chucks out, you can use those and create them, and kids get a kick out of it. As fun as, kind of a quick activity to do. And then the goal is that you can decorate your classroom with it. And then afterwards, hey, whenever we're feeling frustrated or in the beginning of every classroom, grab your bottle, shake your bottle, and let's just rest for a little bit. Sometimes kids need transition time, believe it or not. You know, they walk in a classroom and quickly sit and get started. You know, no check-ins. That could be a time of checking in. That could be a time of just, we're gonna turn off the lights and just sit and relax for like a little while. You can do all sorts of things.
It's just regular glue.
Regular, I use glue, just regular, I don't know, that clear glue. I use clear Elmer's glue. Sell at Target, I just. Then I threw it there. I did try to throw some Legos in there one time. I forgot the Legos float to the top. I really pictured in my head that the Lego was still stay in the middle, but the Lego floated to the top, so it kind of messed the whole thing up. So that one doesn't get played too much because the Legos are always at the top. That one's at the office. It's a big one, too, about this big. These little cards, I'll pass these around. All there are is just little questions. That's all there are. It's just a way to pick a card. It's just a way for me to have a conversation with somebody. That's all. It's just a way for me to have a conversation. So I sit there and it's locked. You can open it's cards and say, just look inside. Look. All there are is questions. There's a conversation starters. Sometimes with a client, I'll say, hey, can you pick a card out? Because I want to start a conversation with them and we're not getting nowhere, and I want to address something quickly. So I may pick a card and we'll talk about the card. And so they can be questions. They're just cards, that's all there is.
So question, what would you do with these feeling cards? Like, who's responsible for?
So I may want to act them out as a game. Let's act out, let's fool around, let's draw what a responsible person is. There's a big, if you go online and you look up Legos, this is what the Legos are on the piece. Legos can be used as a lot for mental health, right? I had you guys all pick out a Lego, right? And the little mini pigs, like I said, the mini pigs are expensive. But there's training in Legos, right? That you can use the Legos and build different scapes, you can different buildings, you can build all different things, which can describe what you're feeling on the inside. Right? Or you can create one to describe depression. You can make a whole Lego on what is it to me to be depressed and what is it to me to be out of depression. You can use all these things because kids love this stuff. You just have to come up with the topic. You come up with the topic. Legos are cheap. You can buy them online in bulk. People are always selling Legos. People, you go on Facebook,
Even
Facebook
at
store.
Dollar Tree, you find like a packet. from
Yeah,
the-
Dollar Tree, you just grab, it doesn't matter. Sometimes these minifigs, if you buy the real ones, those are a little bit more expensive, but if you buy the knockoff ones, it's all the same thing. The goal is to have an activity where kids can share, right? And they can build with each other and they can express something, but they do it in the Lego, right? So each one of you guys has a Lego minifig, right? So we're gonna go around the room real quick and explain to me your Lego minifig. Who is it? What is it? Tell me the little story of origin. Who wants to start first with the little minifig, Lego minifig? Go first.
So I wish I had one that had a little like stubby leg, like a one that went like a little hard, like because I had a kid on my case that's no longer with me anymore. He had to move. He had a really tragic backstory where he got ran over by a vehicle and was still coming to school after that, after dealing with medical stuff, but had a lot of issues. Would always come in with this, not as great as this one, but like a grin that'd be very noticeable.
Nice.
But he would always come back in school very positive, very uplifting. You know, he had his moments, but he always had that cast on his foot and that smile. So that's what
It sticks with you.
Yeah, it sticks.
Something you can share to other people despite having a leg or missing leg now or injury, she
Yeah.
was able to have that big smile. It's
Yeah,
so
well, he
cool.
was determined to get through the high school. He
Right.
wanted to be an auto mechanic, and he was on the edge of he was 11th grade, so he was almost done.
Yeah.
We wanted to finish up the year strong. So that was his inspiration to keep it.
Anybody else? Anybody? Let's go around the room. We got Oprah, your little mini kid.
Mine is a wrestler,
Listen.
and it reminds me of one student, who, like, that's his exterior, like, his go-to is like fight, like at all times, and he kind of like wears that as his persona, that's how he wants to be perceived, but literally just last week, he kind of gave me a glimpse past that, and like, talked about things that he hasn't like said before, and it was like, okay, so that's just your exterior, that's his protective mode, and I feel like a lot of students have that, like, I even register with that a little bit. Yeah,
Sometimes the book is not good. What is it? I always don't judge a book by its cover, right? But the problem is sometimes you don't want to open the book because of the cover.
yeah.
But we have to be a little bit brave and go past that cover. And sometimes those are the best kids. And I remember there's one kid that was like that. And mean kid, I mean, a kid, I remember he had a job at Red Rose Pizza at 16. I thought it was cool. And says somebody at Red Rose challenged him and he beat him up in the kitchen. So hence there goes the job, you know? And he had a lot of jobs where people would get in his face and he would automatically respond to fighting. And I'm like, why do you do that? And I said, like, why do you get into fights? Like, what's the listen? He would tell you, right? If I don't defend myself, if I don't confront this, they're gonna use you, they're gonna take advantage of me. And I'm like, okay, I get that. He lived in a bad neighborhood, real bad neighborhood, very serious neighborhood where he would have to walk home from school and to school every single day. So he had to develop this exterior to ensure himself safety back and forth. I get that. So I said, listen, I understand that. Can we learn how to shut it off and turn it off? Can we just learn to do that? Because that's a skill that you need. And I understand, well, can we learn to turn it on and turn it off? Can we work on that part? Just learn when to turn it on and learn when to turn it off, like everything else we do. Sometimes we turn on the lights when we need them, but we don't turn on the lights all the time, right? That's all, just learn, I'm not trying to take away your skill, because it's important. You need to learn to develop. You live in a rough neighborhood, I get it. But it's just, like at work, do we need to turn it on? You know, not even get paid, you need money. You need to turn it on there. You know, you learn to, that's all, simple skill. Simple skill, very good kid to know. Anything, some other thing, you want yours, who else? Let's go for it, your little mini thing, there you go.
For me, I was trying to find like a tool, but I don't find it, so I just have this horse skeleton that's moving forward. So my purpose and why I'm doing this, and even why I'm at school doing this, is I was in the other side of the table. So I was a family with one kid with NAICS, and we just moved from Puerto Rico in 2020. So I don't know anything from here, where to go and find resources, because in Puerto Rico it's very different and very challenging to go and find all those resources. So I have an IHT team set up for me for my pediatrician, and they were my support. They give me this when they were doing parenting skills and everything. They talked to me about the toolkit, how you have your toolkits and you put all your supports, all the skills that you already have or stuff that you learned and use it to move forward. So I use that with my son. He's now 16 years old and he's like very successful in school. So he have his own toolkit full of like different tools that we learned during this year. And now I am at school gathering my toolkit for helping other families at the same that they help me. My family.
So you experience,
Yeah,
It's
so
an
I
experience,
was,
nice.
yeah, a family, and now I am a provider.
other mini fig, anybody else wants to do their mini fig? You got a boat. Forget about the boat.
Mine was similar to her,
Uh-huh.
where like I was also with family counseling and
Uh,
And, I had a traumatic event with the boat, so I kind of gravitated towards the boat. I don't know.
Overcome that trauma?
Yeah.
And nice. Nice, very nice. Anybody else? We got a little Ninja Turtle. I know it's Ninja Turtle. Michelangelo on top of that.
Yeah, Michelangelo, exactly. I picked him because one of me reminded me of my student Andrew. He just came from online school. He's been in online school since the start of COVID, and this is his first year back. And he's been having a lot of difficulties making friends and like kind of navigating social situations. And he kind of puts up this like tough front that like he doesn't care and it is what it is. Like he doesn't need friends, or if they say something mean about him, it's whatever, he's fine. So I've been working on that. So I picked the Ninja Turtle because, you know.
Tough shell.
Tough shell, exactly.
It's funny, a lot of kids, they do that, they put that, I remember one time we had a kid, I don't know, it was in our, I have no feelings,
Yeah.
nothing hurts me. Are you sure? 'Cause I think I can hurt you. Fully remember, he did that, you know, it's interesting, that's when he was a little kid, but then his family went through some disaster. A real bad disaster, and they ended up almost trying to take his life, you know, because he couldn't deal with the feelings and the things that were happening to his family, and that worried him with the story. And then he eventually developed a eating disorder. Now he's doing better, it took a little while. No, but things happen when we try to, you know, hide all those feelings, but we all know they have feelings. Because even us, we try to hide our own feelings sometimes, right? When we're hurt by somebody, we try to have that tough exterior, but it hurts. It hurts. You have a nice one back there with a little funny head,
A snake head.
snake head.
Underneath the snake head, he's got a little angry face, and at the school, we're learning to not let our anger ruin our entire day. We're learning to process our feelings and to use our words to explain things. Like, he needs to use his words to explain this is a laser and not a weapon.
It's when you're angry, when one of you guys are angry, isn't it hard to focus?
Yeah.
Isn't it hard to like put thoughts together and get things going? You're kind of like stuck in the moment. Like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Stuck. And sometimes the best thing we can teach is forget about the work for a second. Do something different. Did you do something different? Sometimes I'll get up, I collected all these little Hot Wheels, Bigfoots. And I gave them away to a bunch of little kids, and I said, for every Hot Wheel, some therapist pissed me off. I had 12 Hot Wheels. So I would go to the store, literally buy a Hot Wheel monster truck, and then I would play with it to try to get my mindset off of what's going on. I know I needed to work, but in the moment I was frustrated, so coping skill was the Hot Wheels. So then I gave them away as a gift to a classroom so they can enjoy the Hot Wheels, because little kids, you know, love to play with little cars. So who else? That one, we got a little dinosaur. I love dinosaurs, and I love the little angry bird on top of it.
So they weren't originally together. I
Yeah.
put them together. But with a little angry bird on top, it's still balanced. So we have a lot of things that can go into our day. We have a lot of identities that we may feel create us and make us, and even if they may feel small and light or big and loud, they can all combine to be one person. And however you create yourself to be, that's right.
Right, we're gonna play a game in a little while with balancing, so that's good. Because we have to balance a lot of stuff that we have to get through. Let's see, this one over here, because that one has like a lot of stuff. And then you pick some of the anime characters on there on top of that.
I don't even know how to
You
do
pick Chia, if I'm correct, yeah. You know what a Chia is?
Yeah, so I love superheroes.
Yeah.
I'm also from Marvel, and so
Yeah.
I found a little Venom. But my name Fi is this Fi He looks a little different than everyone else. And so I just thought like, a lot of kids have trouble blending in and trying to make connections, trying to be like everyone else, we can be like everyone else, but like, we always want to fit in. And so I kind of feel like this was like a barrier between him being different, from everyone else. And so this shield kind of protects him. So maybe that's why he doesn't have the easiest time connecting with others.
Alright,
So, yeah.
we all do have a natural belonging, the one to belong. And if we can belong, then we have, but when we can't belong, it becomes an issue, and then we develop all these other things. Back there, last one, back there in the back, We have one with a green, and did you do yours with a green hat? Did you do yours next to
I just picked because I thought they were cute, but
it?
I especially picked this like weapon. It's like from Naruto, but I feel like that's the
Oh, you know what it is, good.
that's the anime that makes me bond like the most with the kids. Like I just start talking about anime, and they're just like, oh my god, you know this, we just start bonding. So I picked that out because you reminded me of that.
Nice. So one of the animes that my kid was surprised that I binge watched it, but it was Attack on Titan. You ever seen it? I binge watched that for like all I did was think of Attack on Titan every single day. This is crazy. But I know that a lot of kids love Attack on Titan. Now I know everything they're talking about. And then I, of course, diagnosed it and started processing and the mental health capacity and all this other stuff. Started reading into it a little bit. And I got a little crazy.
Yeah.
You picked that one of the Powerpuff Girls.
Buttercup.
Right?
I feel like this is one of my students. She's adorable, but she's always angry. So, yeah, that's why I picked her. She needs her weapon, her heart, a big heart. However, due to her upbringing, she has a very defensive stance. So, Buttercup.
It's hard to break that through the defensive stance when it protects you from something else. You know, I remember working with this one mom. I was always scared to look at her in the face. Cause she had that stern look, and every time she just kept breaking. Like I wanted to put my head down all the time, just out of reverence, but it's always scary, but I understand her upbringing and domestic violence, sexual trauma, all this other, I get it. I understand why she's like that, I understand it. You know, I have to learn to deal with that myself. Next one.
All right, so this is my Lego piece that I got. This is actually inspired by my niece. So my niece is like a really sweet kid. She really enjoys just like dressing up and also very much enjoy playing with toys like Nerf guns, swords. She typically tries to chase me and my cousins around while swinging the sword around, like, you know, the fun little kid that she is. I guess I would see this as an impersonation of herself when she decides to, like, you know, role play and stuff like that. But if you take off everything, it's basically a pajama, just like having fun overall. In a way, it kind of reminds me of the mindset of like kids when they were really young. They don't know that much about the outside world, so they have a more of a fantasy imagination growing up of like thinking of like possibilities, scenarios, whether it's with friends, and it allows them to just like extend their imagination of what it is to be creative and having fun overall.
When clear kids are smart, you notice they color with all sorts of different colors. They mix them all up. It's not the layer when they're told they can't do that and they have to combine the colors correctly and color within the line. But some of the best pictures I've seen are from little kids that don't know how to color and they're all over the place because they have that kind of mindset. It's clean. You know, but then later on, you see them trying to color within the line. You know, but I like when they grab all the crayons and they just go like this. Makes no sense, but it's so cool to watch. Spider-Man, I know it's Spider-Man. This is something different.
So I picked this because it reminded me of my niece. I had a bunch of, back when I lived at home, I had a bunch of stuffed Spider-Man just hanging up in my room, and she would always want me to pull them down, play with them. But so I picked that.
I'd be surprised how much kids want to play with us adults, and sometimes we just don't want to play back. Happens. What else didn't get to go? You got to go? Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're hiding.
I have this little figure with a mask on, and I did that because sometimes I feel like I put on a mask every day, like I'm okay and I'm balancing everything. But underneath the mask, I'm usually pretty stressed and I'm an introvert, even though when I'm out in public, I kind of can have like an extrovert facade. And then this little guy on the side is just the world's expectations, and sometimes I try to carry those around with me too much. So just trying to remind myself that those are separate.
I would resonate with that because I can be very much of an introvert. But sometimes I put on that facade like I'm an extrovert, but my whole head is always quiet on that one.
So mine, I combined a bunch of pieces to make, it represents one of the kids that I work with. And it's actually the massive perfectionist kid. She's super awesome, smiling all the time. I gave her the Joker face. It's got both a kind of deranged smile and a super happy smile. Is on the super happy one right now. But also a lot of the kids at school don't really understand her, and she doesn't have a huge number of friends, and she definitely puts that smile on sometimes just to kind of like as a mask. And if you catch her in a bad moment, I mean, she definitely has them, and you can realize pretty quickly, like, she's hiding a lot of stuff that bothers her.
It's a lot, that's a lot to work through. Hopefully you'll have all that patience, or at least the consistency. This kid, you sit there around that kid all the time, you'd be surprised how much that kid comes around. They need somebody that's willing to love them, whether they have the Joker mask on or the happy face one. They need, because sometimes it's sad, but sometimes we only like the kid when they're being good, and when they're being bad, we tend not to want to be around them. You know, I've had people do that too. You know, I'm gonna punish you because you're being bad, but when you're good, it's okay, you can be around me, you can hang out with me, but what message are you giving to the kid? You know, it's not unconditional love, that's for sure. It's definitely not unconditional. This time, we got this last row here,
So mine is with, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Right, so that's like a therapy pet.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have, dogs, or they have some type of animal, that calms them. Also too, the, figure I have has a mask. A lot of kids have that persona, like we were saying before. But they have, and it's a bearded, so a lot of them have the persona that they are, really very more mature than what they really are. So that's what I see a lot of. You know, I see a certain type of person, but when you sit there and talk to them, like you sit there and talk to like an old person, you know, but you have to get to know them and break down those barriers.
I want to be validated and heard. And stuff.
Right.
Last one, I think you're the last one with the motorcycle or dirt bike.
Yeah, I chose, well, I thought it was a bicycle, but either way honestly works. And I chose this because like, you just gotta learn to balance life, and I feel like even being at the school and like the students just learning how to balance like school and home life and things that are going on at school.
Right. Oh, excellent. You guys did good. See with Legos. You guys did all this with Legos. You guys did a whole therapy session just on Legos only. Very simple. All it is Legos. We did nothing. We didn't not a lot of work, right? Just Legos. So we need some volunteers, right? We're gonna get a little bit more so we can stand up a little bit. And this is very simple. I want to pass a number around. Help me pass numbers around. Pass them. How many now? So this is one number here. From you, if you push this way, is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's just 9. So, and I did this like this. That's 9. So you pick. You know, 9.
Oh, shit. 11.
I got an 8.
Oh, I didn't.
7. 6. And back over. This is 5. 4.
You didn't print out the 5, did you?
Yeah, you used 55.
Oh.
3. 1. I got a 2. I got a 2. I got a 2. 2. 1. And then I think 0. 1.
No, you didn't.
And then we, okay, we're gonna go past those real quick. Well, see, you're just giving numbers that random. Random is a number, numbers that random. And I got a number here. Random.
You want these 9 first?
Yeah, and then, And it's, you're gonna have to move. So if you got a number, you're gonna have to move. Otherwise, and then we'll try it on the other side. Nine, yeah, number 9. Yeah, so the goal is I'm gonna write a number on the board. Your job is to put the number together in front as fast as you can. So you gotta move. You gotta get up and put the number together in order.
Oh, I see.
Okay, you guys
I
got
got
it?
it, I got it,
You got it?
I got it.
I think I, so.
You get a number, let's say 59,
Yes.
you have to make it. Later.
I didn't, but like, so there.
No, we're gonna try one side and then we're gonna go to the other side, ready?
He broke it up into 2 pages.
Oh.
Yeah, is there a place you want it or?
Yeah, just, you can do it right there in that row, it's up to you. But you gotta put it in order as fast as you can, okay? Now. They're gonna get up. Let's see, you wanna time them? You wanna do a timer? To see how quick it takes one group versus the other group? Let's see, if I remember the name numbers. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, do that. Strategize.
You might, we need that one.
Okay, ready?
Wait, not yet.
Here's the number, go for it. No, hold it, just hold it, just hold it. Hold it in your hand, hold it in your chest. How many? That was fast. That was real fast. 974315268. Wow, that's real quick. Well, you guys are in college. Yes. Okay. These guys are fast. Here we go. Hey, go for it. One, 4, 3, 5, 6, 8 is backwards. 8, 9, 7, 2. Perfect. Now take one. Some of you take your numbers and give it to somebody else so they can try it out while I get the next one going. Ready?
Right?
You got the number? All right, now you're in.
So
Ready again.
who's missing?
So you can tailor the game, right? The goal is to get people to move around, right? You can tailor the game to little numbers or you can go bigger numbers. I just went through 1 through 9, but you can do 0. The key is you can't do a number twice. So for example, I can't put 2 2s because there's no 2 2s out there right now, right? So you can make one group versus the other group and go for that. So ready, set, go. Yeah. 6, 4, 5, 2, 1, 9, 7, 3, 8. Nice, very nice. Very nice. Ready for your last one. Last one.
We're just on the.
Sorry, I got that.
Go for it.
Ooh.
Think I got them all.
Okay.
Real quick. 2, 1, 4, 6, 5, 3, 9, 7, 8. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, you guys can sit down. I'll take the numbers back. Like you can do it. So a very light game, right? But it gets people, it gets kids competing with each other, moving around. Believe it or not, kids love competition. They love to, even if they seem to be winning something magical, but they love that. And they love to move around. And what you guys did when you guys were playing. One thing that you guys noticed that you guys were doing.
Communicating.
Communicating how? Verbal or non-verbal? Or both? Wow, what else? What else? And allow you to take instructions from somebody else. Because somebody say, hey, over here. They moved them. Some kids don't like that. But all of a sudden, magically in the game, they'll tend to be okay with that. Right? What else? It teaches them math if you want to do a sideways. Teaches them math skills. I don't recognize them. What else? Huh?
Agency, so you have control over your own.
Yeah.
Your responsibility.
Yeah. Exactly. What else? What else you get out of it? What other mental health I'm trying to get across here?
Working as a team.
Working as a team, yeah,
I was about to say cooperation.
yeah, cooperation, team cohesion, yeah. What else? It's a game. What else? Moving? Yeah. You get to move. What happens when you get to move? You get good vibes come in. You get good energy. You're laughing. You're giggling. You're joking around. You're seeing your peer in a whole different format, right?
Yeah.
And if they get in the wrong spot, be nice, because then you can joke around, teach kids how to take a joke. Believe it or not, some kids do not know how to take a joke, because they confuse, there is teasing, right? But sometimes there's healthy teasing, and then there's bullying. And sometimes kids confuse the two, right? Like, for example, I had this kid yesterday, and he's being bullied. He's literally being bullied. They know they're teasing him. Right, but you cry every day. You don't eat lunch. You hide. It's not teasing anymore, it's bullying. And we need to address that, but he's scared. Because if I tell, they bully me more. But if I don't tell, at least I can try to deal with it myself. But he's hurting. Grades are poor, everything poor. This is an easy one. Very simple one. You have time. This is, I'm gonna get to one of the bigger ones. So this is an easy one. So I'm gonna write a comment. There's a comment up top. Right? Your job is to write a thought concerning that comment. I mean, you can do it any kind of way. You can create, this is the format I choose to do, but you can do it any kind of way. So what's gonna happen is the first person is gonna get it. They're gonna write something in it and they're gonna fold it. Next person is gonna write something in it and they're gonna fold it. Next person fold it all the way till it gets to the top. Then when it gets to the top, all we do is we unravel it and have a discussion on it. It's your thought. Sometimes we're scared to say our thoughts because you can't even be judged, right? But it's a secret way to say your thoughts. Okay? So we're gonna just pass, how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like usually you can do 5 per page. So we're gonna do like 3 pages, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do 4 on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you guys said, well, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think you all probably can do it. Let me go for it. So write something and then fold it, and another person write it right on the next part. So for example, I'll do it one more time. It's like this, I start from the bottom. I write something here, I fold my comment. And the next person writes something here, right above the fold, and folds it over that comment. Yeah, it has to do with that little topic. It has to do with that little topic. So don't fold the topic. Don't fold the topic. You want to just keep going. Until at the end, you're left with only the topic at the top. That's all. Only you're left with the topic. I know online it's hard to see. Well, at least you're explaining it to you. So you write a little topic at the bottom. So you write the topic out, so you write a central topic up here, right? Then what you do is you write the topic down at the bottom, comment on the topic, and you fold it. Then another comment, and you fold it, another comment, you fold it, you keep going, until all you have left is your central topic. And then what you do, you unfold it, and now you can have a conversation about the topic, or all the comments that are made.
Yeah, on top and then you fold it.
And then just fold it. The goal is nobody copies what you wrote, and then, so that everybody has an opinion. Very simple, solo from online, that was a very cool activity to do. Then we'll do this one. I'm gonna try, I don't know. 8 and 8, perfect. You know. Sometimes we can't get kids to talk. It's another way to get kids to talk. It could be one-liners, just so that you know. It could be one-liners. As soon as you let me know, I can grab it, and then I can, we can start processing it real quick. And you can write any topic you want. I wrote a sad day, but I didn't give that one out. Like I said, I did. A good friend, and you can write any topic that you want. All it is getting kids to talk, that's all. Getting kids to have conversations. YouTube is very good with games.
So I really want
Yeah, right there, hold it. YouTube is very good. TikTok has a lot. What is that other one that, I forgot the name of it. It's a website, has a lot of, following. People post their little activity stuff. Instagram is another one. Yeah. Oh, I gotta put that up there. Yeah, teachers by teachers,
Teachers pay teachers.
teachers pay teachers.
It doesn't pay, but there's a lot of.
Right. Great.
And apparently a applicant.
Okay, we got here, we're gonna do this one, right? While you guys are finishing, we finish that one too, right? Everybody finish or no? I'm still working, anybody else? Okay, so we have right here, happy day. What is the happy day? Playing soccer, there's some people happy days playing soccer. Well rested, well fed, good people around me. I had a happy day with my students and I performed and did very well. When I learned something new, when I spend time with family and friends, how many of us can resonate with that? Like, that's what we consider the happy day. And the goal is that I'm reading because I'm trying to speed it up, but the goal is to have the kid have a conversation on, like, you set a leader, and then you guys talk about it. You set a leader and you talk about it. Graduation, hopefully for all of y'all here, right? Graduation, will I be strong enough to make it there? I think all of us, I know I had that one big time, I dragged it all the way through. I worry that I will make it through the master's program to make it to graduation. It happens, it's hard, but how many of us can resonate with that? How many of us know that that's always in the back of our mindset, right? So imagine helping each other out. Helping each other out, looking out for each other. Drag each other across that finish line, right? Stressful, but excited for when that day happens. Optional, unless your family really wants to see you walk. That is true, I didn't walk on mine. It's true. Well, I got mad with my bachelor's, so I refused to walk. I walked for my master's, and for my doctor, I got slammed with COVID, so. I couldn't walk for my doctor, I just want, and honestly, the only reason I wanted to walk for my doctor is I wanted that robe. I figured I looked like a wizard at that time. That's all. With a big funny looking hat, that's all I wanted. And mine would have been yellow, because that's the color they have in yellow. So I figured I have the power of lightning and sun and all this other kind of stuff. That's all. But I also didn't want to spend the $300 for that robe. What am I doing with that? I mean, if I'm caught wearing it in the street, it'd be kind of weird. Wear next time. I want to wear it all the time. Very excited, anticipating the event, making my family proud. This first one in my family to get the match. That's pretty cool. Very, very good. And there was another one. There was a third one. Anybody has it? Nobody? Almost there? Almost. Perfect. And the last one is a crazy day. How many of us had crazy days? So one thing happens up there, the crazy day. Ready? A crazy day today with no follow through. That happens. Every day is a crazy day. It was a crazy day when I applied to the master's pro school. Crazy to know that 4 years went by so fast. And it's funny that they go by so fast. 4 years is like a blip. It goes by very quick. The toilet broke when I went to the bathroom. That happened. It's so terrible. I'm like, that's happened, believe it or not, that's happened, in our office.
Oh.
Well, so downstairs is, so upstairs is us, and then downstairs is, a psychologist, she does psychological testing, so one day, I think it was me, to be honest, I forgot to turn off the water upstairs, and I let it run. So eventually, it didn't leak upstairs.
Oh.
And it leaked down there all over the place. You see, and not the first time I think I've done it to her. And then somehow the toilet gets clogged up a lot, and it hits the break, and then it bubbles and all sorts of mess. So I get the whole toilet, and I have a lot of issues with toilets. If you ever want to know my ratings, my toilet scale rating that I have for different countries, let me know. I'm more than happy to send you my toilet scale rating. Or some of the best toilets in Springfield, Chicopee, and West Springfield, and Northampton, because if you're a therapist, you need to know where they are during the day. Because you're constantly driving around. I mean, though some place in Northampton locked it after they figured I was using it a lot. But it was a nice one, private, quiet, it's very nice. On classwork, field, and placement. I've had that happen to me with field placement, it's hard. It's very hard, field placement is hard, and you wanna get a good one. You want anyone that you will learn, one that will challenge you, right, but one that will also help. Because sometimes you get placed and they only care about themselves, they don't really care about you. You know, they care about the numbers, they care about you taking care of the kids, and they forget about you. So you need one that really cares about you, that's invested in you. I got lucky, I had, 2 placements that really helped me out, really cared for me, and one of them, my last one, hired me afterwards, and I stayed with her out of loyalty, because I wasn't making any money there, but she also later on helped me to, go into private practice. So I really do. I'm happy with that lady. So we're gonna have 8 over there or eight over here. Your job is to make the biggest tower possible out of these cups. So everybody get up. 8 over here, 8 over there, open them and make the biggest tower that you possibly can make. Help each other out. The biggest tower. The tallest, did you say the tallest tower? It's gotta be tall. It's gotta be tall. Gotta be tall. And it's gotta be able to stand on its own. Tallest and standing on its own.
Yeah, there's ability.
No, you can't use tape. No tape. No tape. It's only cups. You only use the cups that you got.
What if we make like a beer?
I don't know if you want to like go around.
Maybe probably a little more safe.
Michael, we're using your desk.
I can say you might need some more.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys 4 minutes. 4 minutes, okay? So we don't spend the whole time on, because it can go forever. Oops. 4 minutes. You already have 1 minute, it's total of 5.
It's going.
You do.
I'm just recording. It's like me, but.
It is.
Slow down. It's wobbly.
That's about like that. It's good.
Give it a minute.
I think that was not bad for health issues. So we can get rid of that one. That one.
We don't need that. Okay. Yeah.
It's time for someone to get in the chair.
Yeah, we're gonna be here.
I can do it.
Here we go. Yeah.
We got two.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that would be great. I'll go.
That one.
Oh.
Not that chair.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Take up.
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Oh, dang. Hurry up, you got time, you got 3 minutes left, let's go. You still got 3 minutes. You still got 3 minutes.
Stand on the chair.
No one touch it.
Come on this side. There's a chair right
I'm not gonna, no, I wanna go from the angle where it's not,
We're not gonna collapse.
yeah, where I'm not gonna make it fall on top of each other.
Time? Yeah, how much time do we have?
You got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
Wait until like there's 30 seconds left.
Oh, yeah, put all that pressure on me, huh?
I'll do it if you don't want to do it.
Don't hold your breath.
2 minutes left.
I'll probably-
I don't know. They're building pretty fast.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I can do four.
Go blow on there.
I think
I think Anthony you should do it.
Like a little closer.
Yeah, closer to you.
I wanna see.
No, no.
Way closer to you.
Yeah, I'm probably closer to you.
I'm not doing that one.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Focus.
Oh. Ooh. Somebody's shaking. Oh, no, it ain't gonna do nothing. Oh, you almost had it though. You almost had it.
Take a deep breath.
Woo, look at that one over there. You got 45 seconds left. 45 seconds left.
Right.
45 seconds left. Oh, 45. Oh, damn.
No, you
might
might
have
have
to
to put one.
45 seconds left. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left.
Go, Bob.
30 seconds left. You guys got 30. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Yeah, I think they're even. They're even. 15 seconds left. 15. 15 seconds left. 15. Oh, damn. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Okay, get away from it. Get away from it. Get away from it. Holy smokes. They're tied. They're literally tied.
Will you
They're tied.
Yeah, we did.
They're tied. They're tied, right? So we gotta tie break it.
Will you just hold
So who wants to try to make it higher? By one talk, but I'm knocking it down. Who wants to take the victory? Who wants to take the victory? They're tied. They're higher. Who wants to take the victory? Claim it. Or you guys good with a tie?
I'm good with the tie.
You good with a tie over there? Or do you want to take the victory?
I'm saying.
What did we win?
You win life? You got bragging rights forever.
I feel like I can't even reach it.
Yeah.
And I can keep going.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got to
Tied or
I don't think it's
breaking?
about height. I think it's about.
It's tied right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this.
We also use all of our.
I'm gonna do a loud stomp and see which one falls first.
No, we wanna see broken. Anybody else? We're good going once, and that's gonna be time. Now, the fun part. Who wants to knock it down?
By all means.
Do it.
I gotta get all the cups back up. Oh, yeah, how you get it now? It was nine. Okay, when you grab the cup. Grab yourself 4 cups. If you can't grab yourself 4 cups. 4 cups each and grab 2 each.
They don't need cups.
I gave you 3. It should be 3 only. You got
Oh,
3
three?
cups and 3 sticks.
You said 4, you said
4 cups, 3 sticks.
Oh,
4
3
cups, 3 sticks.
Six for you.
4 cups, 3 sticks, 3 sticks. 4 cups, 3 sticks. If I mess up the game, apologies. 4 cups, 3 sticks.
oh, yeah.
4 cups, 3 sticks. I got sticks, don't worry about it. 4 cups, 3 sticks.
Thank you.
4 cups. So the goal of this, this is, I got this from the STEM game. So, the goal of this is you're gonna take your 3 cups. That's 3 cups. You always do that. And this one is supposed to be in the middle.
Okay.
In the middle, but there's a. I don't know, it's a little twist to it. I don't think it's easy like this, but it can be like that, because the sticks can't help each other in the, you can't bridge it.
They can't.
You can't bridge it. So you have to have one in the middle. You have to have, so you're gonna take your, I'll show, so I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you over here. So 3 cups, right? You're gonna have this one last cup is gonna be in the middle. But you can't use your sticks as bridges. So you can't bridge them, like, let me easy go like this.
Yeah.
This would be very simple. Life was simple, right? How you do it, you bridge it, right? You bridge it like this, very simple. And then you kind of put your cup in the middle, we all win. Can't do that, can't bridge it. So you gotta figure out how to get this cup in the middle with 3 sticks and 4 cups.
So we can't do this.
You can't bridge it. Think she figured it out. She probably understand. But don't show them what you did. Please, oh, she did it. But she be quick. Okay? This will be the last one. I think I got, oh, no. So, yeah, we're gonna try one more. I'm gonna try one more because this is even funner.
It's crazy.
Alright, I know.
Yeah, I don't know how to bridge.
Oh.
So we'll give you guys, on this one, we'll give
Yeah,
you
like that
2
was-
minutes. 2 minutes to figure out. I know you figured it out, but you gotta build it again. So you get 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 3. Man, funny,
It
though.
works.
But I mean,
I don't know.
No,
if it
listen,
qualifies as a
listen,
bridge.
I'm gonna,
I'll make it
that's
fancy.
slidable.
Make it
You gotta build yours again.
You told me to not let anyone see it.
I know, but you already had it covered. I think.
There. Extra. Not everyone just staring at the corner.
That is nice. That is very nice. Very good.
Yeah, like I know it's supposed to
Very,
be.
that one was smart. That was.
I did it.
Yeah, it's, but the compass was balanced in the middle.
It is in the middle.
No, like floating in the middle.
I.
So then she has it over there, they have it over there. On one side of them. And Bridget, and Bridget, and Bridget.
Yeah.
And Bridget. Oh, she did Bridget last night. That one qualifies,
I know, but it's-
qualifies, that one qualifies, but even not qualified.
You, straight and then.
Qualified. There's many different ways to
No,
do
like,
it. Qualifies over there, see it?
at the end. Yeah. Mhm.
And she got it, qualifies over there. You guys got 30 seconds left. Most everybody's made it. You know, are you bridging any of them? No bridging, oh, makes it qualified. She got it, qualified, you got it?
Nothing.
Oh. We're all on edge for her. We're all on edge for now. And we're done. We're done. So again, a simple now. This is the cups cost, I think I spent less than $10. And I can keep going with the cups. Cause then I got ping pong balls. And I got that. I mean, I do a clean version of the phone game. Clean version of the drinking game. But there's many. We can't teach kids things outside the box, right? Hopefully they'll help each other. If we can allow that to help each other, right? How to work with limited supply. Sometimes we think we need everything, sometimes we think we need a lot of stuff, but we don't. So, ready, we need at least 4 on this one and 4 on that side. 4 people, so we need to go to 8, so 8 people that want to volunteer, so 4 over here and 4 people that want to volunteer. That's all we need, and then I need, we're gonna make a little pyramid here. 4 people, that's all I see. 4 people. I think. Oh, maybe not, yeah, 4. Actually, we can do that too. We got 4, and we have 4 left over, let's do another group of 4. What we do is, am I doing it correctly, or did another group of 4?
Oh, all right, so we're practicing gym class.
Wait, another group of 4 over there.
There's another group of 4.
So another group, 2 groups of 4, 1, 4, and 4. We got 4. Come on, come on.
I actually can't right now.
No, okay. Over there? One more, okay, that's good enough. Okay, ready? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. These are easy. These are.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas, very Christmassy. So, you got a group of 4, you have 4 little fingers. Pretty sure you get a finger, so before you're gonna put it. Finger on there and go to pyramid. That's what you gotta do. First, you do the pyramid, wait. Maybe you guys saw that? Oh, you're gonna put it, you got 4 people. So each one grab one, put it, and put it.
Oh,
Yeah.
And make your pyramid.
Yep.
Make your pyramid.
Okay.
Hey, go for it.
Yep.
No, you can't. You gotta build the pyramid.
Oh, you want to build.
You gotta build the pyramid. So what's that?
My body. There you go.
Oh, that was real quick, yeah. Right, and the next one, nice. I see. Oh, hey. You guys gonna try? Keep going.
No, I wanna sit.
We just start ours.
Yeah, you can throw your brother comes back. That's usually the funny part, is throwing it.
Yeah.
Almost there, almost there. I have more cups at home. I have different color cups. Yeah, there we go. Very simple activity to do. You're breaking down the details of when working with kids, they love, I don't know what the coolness of breaking it all down. I sometimes I love the coming when it comes down, but I know the work it took to make it come up. So it's always a bittersweet type of deal. So, any of these games, what do you think about the last game that we played? What are we doing on the last game for mental health? Teamwork, what else?
Communication.
Communication. Accomplishing something, what else? Strategizing.
Community.
Patience, community, what else? Leadership. Patience, what? Flexibility. Not everything requires a lot of pressure. Sometimes too much pressure, we tend to overstretch ourselves, right? And sometimes we gotta teach kids how to turn things on and turn things off. It's good to be the clown of the classroom. It is. Because everybody gets to laugh. And we all need to laugh, right? But if you're the clown of the classroom every single day, what happens? The funniness turns into now negativity, people get frustrated with you, nobody wants to talk to you. There's ways to turn it on and turn it off. There's times to be a clown, there's times to be funny. Sometimes there's times to come in the room and drag yourself all the way to the floor. I've seen kids do that. That's appropriate, that's fun. But then there are times to work and there are times to have fun, right? And so this right here teaches kids that at some point, sometimes there's things you get, sometimes there's too much pressure, sometimes there's less pressure you get. It's appropriateness, right? We don't want kids to stop laughing and to stop having fun. I do. I want to encourage all the funniness and all that other stuff, but you gotta know how to apply it. When is the time to tell a joke? When is the time not to tell a joke? When one of us crack a joke at a funeral, none of us will probably crack a joke at a funeral, right? Maybe in private we would, but we're not gonna crack everyone in front of the casket. I hope it's probably inappropriate, right? None of us will go to the library and yell fire. Right? Because unless there's really a fire going on, we're gonna do that. It just teaches appropriateness, that's all it is. So all these things, any game, we'll finish with any game that you have done that can teach mental health. Or teach a topic of mental health, any games. Jenga, very good. Who's Jenga? Jenga, very good. That's a good one. What else? Connect Four, another good one. What else? Charades is a good one. Okay. What else? Anybody shoots a ladder? $5? But what happens? Why do you fall down the ladder? Why do you ever fall besides landing on the, but what is that little picture telling you? That you did something wrong. You spilled something, you fall down. You forget to take out the trash, you fall down. So sometimes when we don't do what we're expected to do, like in a classroom, we're expected to do our homework in a classroom, right? What happens? Obviously, the teacher's gonna get a little frustrated with us, right? What else? Candyland? Anybody play $5? $5 games, and you find them at the Goodwill. What else? Then Uno. Everybody here knows how to play Uno at some point. Uno, you should always, one of your toolkits have a deck of Uno. I have multiple decks of Unos everywhere.
That's one that it's just mindfulness. I just thought it like that, but it's like a,
Yeah,
on every card have questions and stuff, so you
can talk to it, yeah. What else?
icebreaker.
Icebreaker, what else? Any other games? Oh, Don't forget online stuff. There's sometimes the things online that you can get that you can do in the classroom. You know, if some of these are good in the classroom, then start your classroom or start your group with something from online. It brings in that technology, because sometimes we want the kid to we want to reinforce the kid to use it, but we don't use it ourselves, meaning that we're not encouraging the kid to use it. Sometimes if we teach the kid that constantly how to use it, they'll memorize it, and that's embedded into their mindset, right? And then they'll quickly use it, but somebody's got to kick it off. So for example, I'll pick one, if I wanted to, the music Spotify, right? I wanted to use music in the classroom, then when the kids come in, I want to, hey, why don't you pick today's song on Spotify? And every day I do that, what happens? They're gonna be doing it outside of the school. You want them to take the lessons here outside. Because that's what they're gonna need it, because you have a group, it's only for, 45 minutes to 50 minutes, maybe an hour at the most. But then, and you may want that once a week, maybe you get lucky and run it every day, but you want them to use it in math, science, social, so you want them to use it, so the more you reinforce it in the classroom by being consistent with it, the more likelihood they're to use it somewhere else. And maybe even teachers will see what you're doing and they'll copy it and they'll do the same thing. That'd be real cool. They copy them. Very cool. Anything else? And we're done. Everybody can go home because it's hot in here. Very hot in here. So there's some books up here. I think Alisa's gonna copy them.
Take pictures.
She's gonna take pictures of it. One of the things I learned about therapists, you have to buy your own junk. Because nobody gonna buy it for you. Oh, so she's got fidget toys. Again, fidget toys are cool. Fidget toys are cool, but they can also double-edged sword on them. So please know how to use them wisely. The Legos, if you can put the little Lego back in the little Lego box. Yeah. That way my kid won't get so mad at me. Here. We didn't do the beanbag. Next time I'll do beanbags. Okay, we're done. You shut it off?
Okay, so we are all wrapped up for today. For resources, please send your request to americorps@springfield.edu. And we will get you the resources from his library of books, to activities that he did today, and to the PowerPoint as well. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
And drive safe.